Another win for Brendan Rodgers. It's Leicester 1, Wolves 0. You're listening to Premier League Live.
With James Whale on Talk Radio. Keep connected with round-the-clock news, essential information and expert insight.
I think we've got to be very careful about the way this has all been going on.
Cutting through the confusion with everything you need to stay safe, informed and entertained.
Everyone's going on about, we should be tracking and testing, and I just don't know how that is going to happen.
Evenings with James Whale. Weeknights from 7 on Talk Radio.
In a world of 24/7 global sportscasting and instant news infotainment, one man bestrides the airwaves like a snow-capped Caledonian colossus.
Hello, I'm Jim White.
Jim White, anchorman.
Mid-morning news team, assemble.
Jim White and Natalie Sawyer, the #1 rated news source for breaking sports stories, big-name guests, and liquid showbiz charisma.
Great Odin's Ravens. That's quite a transfer.
There's nothing burgundy about Jim White. Tomorrow morning from 10 on TalkSport.
In the spring of the year 2020 AD, a deadly enemy rages like a torrent of fire between the ends of empire.
My name is Maximus Talksportus Pandemicus, gladiator of the sports radio. Gird up your loins and battle the invasion of COVID-19, because what you do today will echo in eternity.
TalkSport Legion, assume tortoise formation against COVID-19.
Show this virus no mercy by keeping a distance of at least 2 meters at all times. That's 6.75 Roman feet centurions. Together, Legion, TalkSportus can defeat it.
TalkSportus Maximus.
On my signal, unleash hand sanitizer.
Keep it on, stay informed, and give coronavirus the red cardus.
Are you not hand sanitized?
20 years of TalkSport.
Gentlemen, good evening.
There's no such thing as an overnight success.
Accrington Stanley 4, titanium plasmatronic death droids from the future, 0.
Excess.
I wasn't getting up, I was just getting in.
Excitement.
Excuse me,
and extremely strong opinions.
I spend my life covering the big game at the big level.
On DAB, medium wave, and on your smart speaker. 20 years of TalkSport.
For all the latest news, opinions and advice, listen to Talk Radio throughout the day and stay informed as events unfold.
We're now in a position to start implementing the next part of our plan.
Find out what's happening now and what may happen next, all day, every day.
If the government gets to grips with the plan, then surely we will be able to see light at the end of the tunnel.
Listen now on DAB Digital Radio, online, via the Talk Radio app, or ask your smart speaker to play Talk Radio.
Premier League Live with TalkSport. All the big goals and big moments from the world's biggest football league.
Aubameyang, 3-0, what a goal. It's on onside, this time for 4. Southampton crumbling here at St Mary's.
Bringing you the best of the Premier League all year round.
Jamie Vardy has a hat-trick against Manchester City at the Etihad. Good delivery and another goal. The keeper came. Oh, he flapped. Meslier makes the mistake.
There's a header and there's a goal from Raul Jimenez. Wolverhampton Wanderers back in the game.
Premier League Live with TalkSport.
You are listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester City against Liverpool from the Etihad Stadium. I'm your host, Tom Rennie. Alongside me is the former Manchester United and England fullback Paul Parker. This is Premier League Live. It's the first meeting of the two standard bearers of the Premier League this season. The 2019 champions and 2020 runners-up host the 2019 runners-up and reigning champions. For Manchester City, this has been the worst start to a league season after 6 matches in the managerial career of Pep Guardiola. They've scored fewer goals, won fewer games and conceded more goals than City, Bayern Munich or Barcelona under the great manager. Off the back of a season where his team lost 9 league games, another unwanted record, this must be the match where City start to display some pep for pep and rediscover their wilting mojo. As for Liverpool, they could go top with a win despite going into the weekend with the worst defence in the league. Without Virgil van Dijk, Jurgen Klopp has only named the same backline in back-to-back games once as he tries to find a way to play without their inspirational centre-half. In Project Restart, with Liverpool already champions and welcomed onto the field with a guard of honour, City thrashed the Reds 4-0 here. Manager Jurgen Klopp admitted this week he didn't prepare his side that day as best he could, with many looking like the celebrations at the Formby Hall Hotel a few days earlier had taken their toll. This time Klopp and Liverpool mean business. To the team news, starting with Manchester City, Sergio Aguero, Fernandinho, Benjamin Mendy all remain sidelined. Guardiola makes 2 changes to the side that started their 1-0 win against Sheffield United in their last Premier League game. Gabriel Jesus makes his second start of the season in the league, scored on his return from injury in the midweek Champions League win against Olympiacos. Gundogan comes into midfield, Bernardo Silva to the bench, Riyad Mahrez misses out altogether. Ederson in goal for City, back 4 left to right, Joao Cancelo, Aymeric Laporte, Ruben Dias and Kyle Walker. Midfield 3, Ilkay Gundogan, Rodrigo and Kevin De Bruyne. Up front, Gabriel Jesus, supported by Raheem Sterling and Ferran Torres. On the bench, Zach Steffen, John Stones, Nathan Ake, Alexander Zinchenko, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden and Eric Garcia. For Liverpool, they make some changes from the side that just about squeaked past West Ham last weekend in the Premier League. Joel Matip comes back in to replace Nathaniel Phillips. Diogo Jota, man of the moment, comes in for Curtis Jones. Phillips and Jones, the 2 players who drop out, both on the bench tonight. Alisson in goal, back 4 left to right, Andrew Robertson, Joe Gomez, Joel Matip and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Jordan Henderson, Jorginho Wijnaldum in the centre of midfield. And then it looks like Mo Salah, Diogo Jota and Sadio Mane supporting Roberto Firmino up front. No, Firmino could be deeper and Jota could be further forward. On the bench it's Adrian, James Milner, Naby Keita, Curtis Jones, Xherdan Shaqiri, Divock Origi and Nathaniel Phillips. Craig Borson is our referee. Paul Tierney is the dreaded VAR. And a man just to be as feared is alongside me for this one, a former Premier League winner and a man who is always someone we can rely on to bring a strong opinion on every game, and that's your friend of mine, Paul Parker. How are you, mate? You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you, Tom.
Is this a game that's going to decide the season this early? Are we seeing the number 1 and number 2 sides in the country?
At this given moment, and given what I've seen already, I'm going to have to say no. We don't know exactly who is going to win this league at the moment. They might have been 1 and 2 last season, but at this moment in time, we really don't know if they're going to be 1 and 2 this season, because it's all over the place at the moment with results.
How important is it for Manchester City, given the way the season has started for them, that Gabriel Jesus is back, he is fit and scored in midweek?
Oh, it is so important. They just seemed to have everything, but they just were missing stuff in that final third. They wasn't even creating opportunities in the amount they used to, what they were doing last season and previous season. So him coming back will definitely add something. I think it will help Raheem Sterling as well, who has been quite quiet in certain ways. We haven't talked about him as much as we have done in previous seasons. So I think it will aid him as well. Torres, it'd be good, good to see this front 3 together, because they seem decent. Let's find out if they really are decent.
Yeah, 2 goals this season in the Premier League for Raheem Sterling, less than last season, where of course in the end he finished City's top goal scorer. Backline left to right today, Paul, is Cancelo, Laporte, Ruben Dias and Kyle Walker, Ederson behind. How strong is that defence for Manchester City?
Well, for me at the moment, when you look at it, Dias and Laporte, I think that looks better. That actually looks like you can believe that they can maybe do something. They might be able to defend well. Hopefully they can defend well. They're both decent with the ball with their feet as well. Walker's always going to worry me, but Walker is always likely to get him out of trouble so many times, but then he's likely to go and do something silly and cost them. Cancelo is kind of playing out of position as a left back, but there's something that Pep wants to play him there. I don't know if Mendy is injured or whatever, but at the end of the day, every time I ever saw a City team in recent times with Mendy, and it ends up like a house of comedy, to be perfectly honest.
A house of comedy? I'm not sure what a house of comedy is. I like the sound of it. It's probably closed in England right now. On Liverpool, the front 4, not the fabulous trio, the fantastic 4 this evening of Jota joining Firmino, Salah and Mane. What do you make to the wisdom of that, and how do they play?
fantastic force sounds about right. If you'd said that to me before Jota went there, I would never have believed that he would be going there, and it would turn out the way it is. I mean, it's been incredible. What a jump for the lad from playing in the Championship from Wolves, from scoring goals for Wolves, getting taken off, being subbed, and all of a sudden he gets in at Liverpool and he's scoring goals, and important goals as well. And I believe he'll be up there, up top, and Firmino in behind him. And Firmino now has someone through the middle to get the ball to, and he has his usual suspects in wide areas.
Counting down to kick-off here. We're about 8 minutes away from this one starting. Let's hear from the two bosses now, Pep Guardiola of Manchester City and Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, of course, but when they come at home, also they feel our fans and our spectators and everywhere. So you play home away in both sides. So I don't know how much effect in terms of Olympiacos or Marseille or Porto. Like, I would prefer to play against Porto with our fans and Olympiacos in Marseille with our people. Honestly, I would prefer. But this is what it is. So we have to that every team play in the same conditions.
For me, it's not important if you play away or at home. For me, it's really important that we compete, that we are really there, that we have our own plan and not only think about their plan. That we are brave, that we play football, that we defend with all we have, and then we have a chance. But it's very difficult. This is the most difficult game in the world of football, I would say, and to play against Man City, and so we have to prepare for that.
It depends on the players as well. So there are players that can play 3, 4, 5 games in a row without a problem. The other ones, they struggle more. So, but of course, now we are just in the beginning of the season, just in November, beginning of November. So now it's November, December, January, what doesn't mean in this country how demanding it is. So that's why tomorrow is incredibly important to get the points, to go with 9 points, to be incredibly close, and can handle this competition with the Premier League a little bit better.
He is the player we thought he will be, and we thought as well that we can help him to reach the next level, like he can help us to reach the next level because of his quality. So still very young, 23, experienced. Anyway, played in one of the hardest working teams you can face with Wolves. A very, very demanding manager. So he knows that offensive player has to do different jobs, not only creating and scoring. He has to work hard and all these kind of things. So that helps us. That all helps us.
Manchester City looking to record back-to-back Premier League victories for the first time this season, whilst a third consecutive win for Liverpool would take them 8 points clear of their rivals and back top of the Premier League table. Players in the tunnel. Kick-off is next. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Evenings with James Whale on Talk Radio. Keep connected with round-the-clock news, essential information and expert insight.
I think we've got to be very careful about the way this has all been going on.
Cutting through the confusion with everything you need to stay safe, informed and entertained.
Everyone's going on about, we should be tracking and testing, and I just don't know how that is going to happen.
Evenings with James Whale. Weeknights from 7 on Talk Radio.
In a world of 24/7 global sportscasting and instant news infotainment, one man bestrides the airwaves like a snow-capped Caledonian colossus.
Hello, I'm Jim White.
Jim White, anchorman.
Mid-morning news team assembled.
Jim White and Natalie Sawyer, the #1 rated news source for breaking sports stories, big-name guests, and liquid showbiz charisma.
Great Odin's Ravens. That's quite a transfer.
There's nothing burgundy about Jim White. Tomorrow morning from 10 on TalkSport.
In the spring of the year 2020 AD, a deadly enemy rages like a torrent of fire between the ends of empire.
My name is Maximus Talksportus Pandemicus, gladiator of the sports radio. Gird up your loins and battle the invasion of COVID-19, because what you do today will echo in eternity.
TalkSport Legion, assume tortoise formation against COVID-19.
Show this virus no mercy by keeping a distance of at least 2 meters at all times. That's 6.75 6.75 Roman feet centurions. Together, Legion, Talk Sportus can defeat it.
Talk Sportus Maximus.
On my signal, unleash hand sanitizer.
Keep it on, stay informed, and give coronavirus the red cardus.
Are you not hand sanitized?
20 years of Talk Sport.
Gentlemen, good evening.
There's no such thing as an overnight success.
Accrington Stanley 4, titanium plasmatronic death droids from the future, 0.
Excess.
I wasn't getting up, I was just getting in.
Excitement.
Excuse me,
and extremely strong opinions.
I spend my life covering the big game at the big level.
On DAB, medium wave, and on your smart speaker. 20 years of Talk Sport.
For all the latest news, opinions and advice, listen to Talk Radio throughout the day and stay informed as events unfold.
We're now in a position to start implementing the next part of our plan.
Find out what's happening now and what may happen next, all day, every day.
If the government gets to grips with the plan, then surely we will be able to see light at the end of the tunnel.
Listen now on DAB Digital Radio, online, via the Talk Radio app, or ask your smart speaker to play Talk Radio.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester City against Liverpool from the Etihad Stadium. I'm your host, Tom Rennie. Alongside me is the former Manchester United and England fullback, Paul Parker. This is Premier League Live. And it's Remembrance Sunday here in the United Kingdom, a holiday held on the second Sunday of November, commemorating British service members who have died in wars and other military conflicts since the onset of World War I. Today we had a 2-minute period of silence at 11 a.m. this morning ahead of Armistice Day later this week. And as with all grounds around the United Kingdom in the Premier League and across the divisions, there will be a minute silence pre-kick-off as the two managers, Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola, bring out respectful wreaths of poppies. We'll take that minute silence now before we head to kick-off.
Shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. As ever, a wonderful tribute on Remembrance Sunday ahead of Armistice Day. Right, to this big game of Premier League football. Manchester City have won their last 3 home league games against Liverpool by an aggregate score of 11 goals to 1. In more current terms, they're aiming to win back-to-back league games for the first time this season. Liverpool can go back to the top of the Premier League table despite having, going into this weekend, the worst defensive record in the division. The Reds have dropped 5 points in their opening 7 Premier League games. They had maximum at the start of last season. To the team news, starting with Manchester City. Ederson in goal, back four left to right. Joao Cancelo, Aymeric Laporte, Ruben Dias and Kyle Walker. Midfield trio, Gundogan, Rodrigo and Kevin De Bruyne. Up front, Raheem Sterling, Gabriel Jesus and Ferran Torres. Silva and Mahrez dropping out from their last Premier League game. Mahrez not in the matchday squad today. On the bench, Zach Steffen, John Stones, Nathan Ake, Alexander Zinchenko, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden and Eric Garcia. For Liverpool, Alisson is in goal. Back four left to right, Andrew Robertson, Joe Gomez, Joel Matip and Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jordan Henderson and Wijnaldum in the centre midfield. And then the dazzling, fantastic four picked ahead of the usual trio. So the four is Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, Diogo Jota and Roberto Firmino. We'll get Paul Parker to tell us the way that works in a minute, as Firmino here has got a chance to get round the goalkeeper, and he's just taken it over the end line, right hand side. Ederson came out, ball ricocheted back off Firmino and went into touch. That will be a goal kick. So I will just give you the bench quickly for Liverpool. Adrian, James Milner, Naby Keita, Curtis Jones, Xherdan Shaqiri, Divock Origi and Nathaniel Phillips. Kevin De Bruyne today making his 200 start for Manchester City. Joel Matip on his 100 start in all competitions. Gomez 100 league appearances now for Liverpool too. Trent Alexander-Arnold coming here forward from the right hand side, cross towards Mane, in towards Firmino, cleared away by Ruben Dias in his own penalty area. He and Laporte had to scramble for that, and already Liverpool have had two half-decent chances in the opening minute of this game. City down the other end with Raheem Sterling, former Liverpool player of course, two-time Young Player of the Year for Liverpool, brought down by Jota. Paul Parker, what a great start. I was going to ask you about Liverpool's formation, now I've got to ask you about the chances.
Well, I mean, while that was going, while you was doing that, the game is open already. There has to be goals in this game. Man City, initially, Firmino got in off the back of Man City being up so high. Alisson comes out, lucky enough he gets his left hand to touch it against Firmino. It bounces up and then it was cleared away, and then again they break through again, and it was just good defending in the end that got them out of trouble, Manchester City. But they are very open, they're playing very high, and Liverpool, well, at the moment in time, it's very difficult to say what formation they're playing. They're just playing very attack-minded.
It is a fluid four, no doubt about that, for Jurgen Klopp. 2.5 minutes gone here. It is goalless. Manchester City in sky blue shirts, white shorts and sky blue socks. They kick from left to right as we look in this first half. Liverpool the other way, right to left. Red shirts, shorts and socks with white numbering and trim. Free kick here for Liverpool, fired high up towards the Manchester City back line, turned forward quickly by Dias into midfield and Kevin De Bruyne onto Gundogan. He'll find Sterling, back to goal, finds a pass back to De Bruyne into Gundogan. De Bruyne looks to slip a pass through to Gabriel Jesus, intercepted by Trent Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool can start to counter immediately. Henderson into Firmino, centre circle, turns forward, left to Sadio Mane, up against Kyle Walker. Edging his way forward, pokes to Salah, challenge on him by Ruben Dias, goes the way of the Portuguese defender into Rodrigo, and Man City can look to bring themselves forward again. Already, Paul, both teams showing their intent, showing that goals are the name of the game today, not keeping clean sheets.
That's exactly right. Both of them have decided they're going to push forward, and now it's City on the counter.
Often a mistake against Manchester City. Here's Raheem Sterling down the left-hand side, reverse pass into the path of Jesus, who cuts it back into the 6-yard box. No one is there, and that is as calm as it gets from Andrew Robertson. Passes the ball back to Alisson, who then finds the ball forward on the floor, and Liverpool already breaking through with Mo Salah, slipped by Laporte, poke left to Robertson, Robertson's cross out to Mo Salah, across the penalty area, left to right, spinning in behind. Salah couldn't get there, but he does recover it. Firmino on the right hand side, left-footed shot, charged down, breaks to Wijnaldum in the centre, 25 yards from goal. To his left is Sadio Mane, controls it, slows it down, finds Robertson. Liverpool happy to have possession in Manchester City territory. 4.5 minutes gone already here. It's zoomed by. Still goalless though, here on Premier League Live.
We just saw their Man City initially going forward on the counter. It involved Sterling and it involved Jesus, and the problem was both of them done the work, and Jesus pulls it back into the box. There's not a Man City player anywhere near. Not one of them had actually dived for the calls and tried to get in the box in belief that the ball was going to come in. I just wonder if that's going to be a problem.
Salah controls and turns. 4 runners ahead of him. Right is Alexander-Arnold. Here he is now. Cross comes in. Away by Laporte. Into De Bruyne. Heads it back to Rodrigo on the edge of his own penalty area. To his left is Gundogan. Onto Cancelo. Not a natural left back. Does well to chop inside and pass back to his goalkeeper Ederson away to our left. Decked out all in black today. Shirt, shorts and socks with a mixture of white and Volt gloves. Finds a short pass out. Here's Laporte. About 20 yards out of his own penalty area. A chance for everybody to take a quick breather as Liverpool don't press too high too soon. Laporte and Diaz left to right, right to left. Here is Ruben Diaz, the big money central defensive signing of the summer. And that was not a high value pass out to the right hand side by Ruben Diaz, straight into touch, and that's a Liverpool throw, and they'll frustrate the manager Guardiola, no doubt, because that was their first real chance to have a period of possession and they wasted it. And that's led to a chance here for Liverpool, clipped down the right channel on towards Salah. It was in behind Laporte and the goalkeeper Ederson, who came out, and it was Laporte who cleared it before Ederson got there, and that was a moment of worry there from the goalkeeper. Why was he rushing out like that?
I don't know. It does worry me when keepers do that. Laporte was in control of that, and he comes out and he could have caused a big problem there, Ederson.
Ball is with Joe Gomez, touted this week by the manager Jurgen Klopp as the man to replace Virgil van Dijk in the heart of that defence. Jota gets away from Cancelo down the right hand side into Salah, edge of the area on the right. Twinkle toes, away from 1, away from 2. City keep him out of the penalty area, trying to get in it now. He can't get away from Joao Cancelo. Takes a bit of a tumble after he's been dispossessed in the hope of maybe getting a free kick or a penalty or something. Nothing given. City get it away, but they are just struggling right now, Manchester City, to keep on the ball. So maybe injecting some pace into proceedings will swing things in their favour. Not with a pass like that from Kyle Walker, right to left, trying to release Jesus. Under hit, Liverpool retake it. Over the top here to Mane, who looks offside. Of course, they don't raise the flag now until the players get it, which, as you can tell by Mane kicking the ball away there, is somewhat frustrating for players, because when you're that offside, you want the definitive of, yeah, stop running, mate, don't you?
Exactly what you want. You don't need to keep going and going. And Mane knew his offside, and then he had to go through the formalities of going to get the ball.
I can see why if a player's through on goal and they're not 100% sure, don't raise it. That just seems like common sense to me. But if they're running away from goal and they were 5 yards offside, as that incident was, let's not waste each other's time.
Yeah, and then you could have had a really hickety-pickety ref who could have booked him for what he'd done there, Mane, because he'd kicked the ball away in frustration.
Over on the left-hand side of their defence, Manchester City have possession. Laporte started 4 of Man City's 11 games in all competitions this season. Since Premier League debut, they've won 51 of the 61 games he has played, compared to 21 of 35 without. That's a drop of nearly 24% when he is not playing, and it is crucial for City. He and Ruben Diaz form that partnership, which has been lacking for City for some time now. Certainly many feel that was costly in their failed defence of their title last season. Here's Rodrigo into the centre of the field, and Gundogan just inside their own half here. Manchester City. Gundogan flips it out right to Kyle Walker, into Kevin De Bruyne, edge of the area, forced off it by Jordan Henderson. Liverpool look to counter here with Firmino finding Sadio Mane. Mane left to Henderson towards the halfway line. Bit of a loose pass from the Reds captain, but recovered by Wijnaldum on the sideline. Into Robertson from Gomez, left-footed upfield, trying to release someone running down the channel. Nobody is. It'll bounce through to the goalkeeper Ederson away to our left. 9 minutes gone here. Manchester City 0, Liverpool 0 on Premier League Live.
I'm just looking at Liverpool, and it is virtually almost like a 4 up front. Mane to the left. Firmino is through the middle. Salah has stepped inside on the right hand side, and Jota is out on the right hand side, as like in the position where Salah's normally playing. So it is it is like a 4. Jota now has actually dropped back now into more of a midfield role, but they definitely have got a constant free up there with Jota joining in from the right hand side.
Yeah, it looks like a 4-2-4 at times, but then of course the 2 fullbacks get forward as well, so that's why Salah moments ago had 4 runners around him to pass to. Didn't manage to score from that situation, but it just shows you the threat that Liverpool are trying to offer here. Thus far, Manchester City have withstood it. Here's Rodrigo, flips it down to the left-hand side of Raheem Sterling, brought down on the chest, and he runs at Alexander-Arnold, runs at Jota too, nudges him over, surely, referee. Yeah. Well, it's not been given by Craig Pawson, our referee, but it looked like Jota just nudged him in the small of the back there as he tried to run towards the penalty area, and that will spark the diving debate again. If he does a Mo Salah, then he gets a free kick there. As he doesn't, and that's simply not fair.
Well, it's so close to the box as well. I just wonder if that affected his mind, the referee, to maybe give anything there.
Slipped into Firmino from Robertson, left to Sadio Mane, end line left hand side, up against Ruben Diaz, pokes it in the area. Oh, it's just behind the run right to left of Roberto Firmino, cleared away by Manchester City, recovered though by Liverpool, left hand side, Robertson. Up against 2 players, Mane takes a dive, and that's a penalty. 11 minutes down, Liverpool have a penalty here. It's a challenge from Kyle Walker. The VAR is Paul Tierney. They will check this, but you know Liverpool do not need a second invitation to jump to the floor in the penalty area, and that's the point Ruben Diaz is making to the referee right now. We see it on our monitors. That's a dive. That should not be a penalty. Paul Parker, what do you think?
Initially that starts from Cancelo with a poor bit of defending, really, but I think he's throwing himself out. Kyle Walker's come from the wrong side. He's trying to go round the back side of him to get goal side, and the moment you cross like that, there's every chance there's going to be contact, or someone's going to take that as an advantage to go over, and it's looking like they're going to give it.
Well, it will be checked by the VAR, of course, and then if they feel it's a clear and obvious error, potentially Craig Pawson will go look at it. Again, Paul Tierney is our VAR, but it's just not a penalty. 2 people brushing up against each other is not a foul. This should not be a penalty. And Mo Salah's getting ready to take it. It looks like it will be awarded. The referee has not gone to look at it, which I find staggering. I'll never understand why they don't go to look at it. But it has been given, and Mo Salah has the chance here, 12 minutes in, to give Liverpool the lead, having taken a tumble for a penalty early doors here. Referee just making sure everyone is standing behind the line. Mo Salah steps up from 12 yards, 12 minutes in, and he beats the goalkeeper to Ederson's right. It beat him on the power, if not precision, and Liverpool take a lead here, and it is controversial, because Sadio Mane has cheated to win it. 1-0.
Well, we have to turn around and say the way they've gone at the game initially, they deserve to be in front, but I don't think in a manner like that. That is so debatable, that one. I mean, if we're talking about people brushing up against people now in the box to win penalties, then the old adage is football's gone. I mean, there was one earlier we saw there.
Yes, exactly right. Moments before, what happened to Raheem Sterling, if he jumps on the ground, it would have been a free kick. He doesn't. Moments later, less contact on Sadio Mane, who does dive, and he gets the penalty. And as far as I'm concerned, that is a disgrace. An absolute disgrace.
It's a disgrace by the referee not to go and look at it himself, to be perfectly honest. Take it upon yourself to go and make a decision. He's allowed people in a broom cupboard to make a decision for him.
Can you believe he hasn't gone to look at that? What is the point of these monitors if the referees aren't going to go and look at them to make sure that there is a foul? Anyway, Liverpool lead by a goal to 0, and they're attacking here. They've started the game really, really well. They didn't need to do that because they have been so on top. Kyle Walker here has cleared away from Sadio Mane, ball over the top to him. Pep Guardiola, I think, is saying not too far off what we're saying to the 4th official, Andre Mariner, down there. And you've got to say, I think Guardiola is absolutely right to be furious with that decision.
I just wonder why even the 4th official can't even go and have a look. You might as well do something, because he doesn't do a lot anyway, the 4th official.
No, there's no reason at all why the referee on field hasn't gone to look at that. I do not understand that. I'll never understand it. But I do in the concept of to refer it they need to see a potential clear and obvious error, but maybe they all think that's a penalty. Maybe I'm alone screaming into the wind, but that should not, under any circumstances, be a penalty kick. Anyway, 15 minutes gone, it is what it is, and we are back underway here. 15 minutes gone, Manchester City will maybe be fueled by that injustice. Maybe next time Raheem Sterling's running through on goal, he'll hit the deck. He's taking on Alexander-Arnold here, left-hand side, pokes it away from him. Bit of kick and rush there from Raheem Sterling. He's got the pace to get there. Was challenged by Alexander-Arnold. Ball then goes into touch, and that's going to be a goal kick to Liverpool. And that's the kind of decision, Paul, when things are going against you, you know, it's going to cause great frustration.
Well, it's going to get worse, the frustration, if it carries on like this at the moment, because nothing seems to be going their way at the moment for City. Started quite poorly, haven't got their passing going, and the way Liverpool are playing, they should be really picking them off a lot better than what they are, because they are really going for it.
De Bruyne here gets nudged to the ground. This time the referee does give the free kick, as you heard there from Paul Parker. I'm not too sure he wanted to give that, but well, he's made a rod for his own back now. Has to give all the soft decisions, Craig Pawson, which is going to be a problem for him, I think, moving forward.
But I'm looking at it, and I just looked at shoulder to shoulder, and maybe say the stronger person or the person who wants the ball the most got it. But I keep remembering I'm in football of today, where football, as much as they've got their 8-pack bellies, they in theory get on the pitch and they want to become quite weak to get a decision.
Well, they do get them, Paul, so why wouldn't they? If I was a manager, I would advise my players to dive every time they got in the penalty area, every single time. Here's De Bruyne on the right-hand side with this free kick. Whips it deep. Oh, at the back post. There was two runners there. Rodrigo was the one at the far. May have been Laporte just ahead of him. Both have missed it. And that's going to be a goal kick. And the referee here will want a word with somebody. Maybe Laporte, for something he said to him as he's run away from the incident. Laporte thinks he was pulled down in the penalty area. Going to be no check on that.
You don't get those ones there. That would just start. In fact, that would be such a snowball effect if one of those were given like that. It has to be incredible for them to get away with it. We've seen Harry Maguire get away with one note against Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll see someone the next week, as we have, not get away with it. But there we are. Goal kick taken short by Liverpool. Alisson left to Robertson. Robertson turns away from Rodrigo. He'll find Firmino on towards Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum on the halfway line. Does well to sell Gundogan there with a little dummy and carry out left. He'll find Sadio Mane. Mane up against Kyle Walker. 2 step overs. Walker away. Breaks to Jordan Henderson. First time laces drive. A few yards wide there from the Liverpool captain, but you can just see, can't you, how affected Manchester City are by that penalty decision.
Yeah, it was just Kyle Walker's actually allowed Mane to run at him when he's got to get closer to him and stop him getting him momentum in his run, but he doesn't. He steps back, and Mane's used that to get into the box, and then he's waiting for him to come out. As he steps out, then that's when he's knocked the ball across to Jordan Henderson, and Henderson in the end got actually great, got it right with that actual connection. It was just off target.
Here's Raheem Sterling, a few yards over the halfway line. He'll find Gundogan, who chips it left to Joao Cancelo. Brings it down, back to Kevin De Bruyne. Diagonal on the ground to Gundogan. A rare moment, really, for Manchester City to have possession in Liverpool territory in the opening 18 minutes we've played so far.
Well, that's rare that you've come out and said something like that, by the way, Tom.
Not really what we're used to with Manchester City. Here's Raheem Sterling edging towards the penalty area. Back to Kevin De Bruyne. Gundogan just behind him. Bit of space for Cancelo down the left channel. Closed down by Alexander-Arnold. Back to Kevin De Bruyne. Right-footed cross, left to right. Up in the air. Jump from Ferran Torres, who I don't think has touched the ball in the game so far. And he's given a free kick against Ferran Torres. Having lost the aerial duel, he then clatters into Sadio Mane, and referee thinks that's a foul.
I think the answer to when you go shoulder to shoulder is to be the first person to hit the floor and then ask for a foul. Because I don't know how he's given a foul. It was two people just contesting the ball.
Robertson with that free kick. Gives it straight to Aymeric Laporte's chest. Outright to Kyle Walker on the halfway line. Ferran Torres, who has impressed in European games so far for Manchester City. Not quite done it in the Premier League as yet. Finds a pass back to his defensive teammates. Approaching 20 minutes gone here. It's Manchester City 0, Liverpool 1 on Premier League Live. A penalty scored by Mo Salah in the 12th minute. Controversially awarded. I've never heard that before.
I think we have to say the way they've set up Liverpool, Jota and Mane, when City getting the ball from the back, they drop back in front of the fullbacks. So virtually they're protecting the fullbacks and anyone getting in between, and so it's stopping Sterling and Torres getting on the ball and being able to run at the fullbacks. That's what it's doing defensively anyway. As an attacking point of view, it's really allowing them then to springboard forward when they do nick the ball. I'm sure Pep would have seen that already, and if he isn't going to do anything now, if it stays like this, but he gets it by half time, he will sort that problem out.
What have they got in response? Manchester City. Well, to win, they've got to score 2 goals now. If they don't do that, City will go 5 Premier League matches without scoring more than 1 goal for the first time in 11 years. They have not been free-flowing and free-scoring in the Premier League this season thus far. And as we mentioned earlier in the programme, already it is Pep Guardiola's worst ever start to a league season for any of the sides he has managed. Ferran Torres controls on the right-hand side. Looked like the ball had gone off the field. Assistant referee, better place than I, says it didn't. This time it has off Robertson for a throw into Manchester City, about 15 yards over the halfway line, right-hand side. Into Rodrigo, snapped off him by Sadio Mane, and it's into Mo Salah, and Mo Salah's running in the penalty area here, and it's on to Sadio Mane. Oh, and he's trying to pass it to Firmino, blocked by Ruben Diaz on its way through, when it was begging to be struck a goal. It's gone for a corner, when it probably should be 2-0.
And that again, City blew up for him when they was in possession on the halfway line. I just wonder if he just had too many touches in the end, Salah. City's players never come at him. He couldn't get one of them to force himself to come out so he could slip it in behind. So in the end, you have to say that was well defended by City rather than rushing out and allowing Mane to be able to really get a good angle for goal. That's why in the end he's had to try to go to Firmino, and there was no way through for that pass.
More defending to do here for Diaz and Laporte. Alexander-Arnold will whip in this corner from the left-hand side, deep. It's over Jota, it's over Walker, and it's out of play for a goal kick. 22 minutes gone. Manchester City 0, Liverpool 1 on Premier League Live. You can tweet us, at TalkSport Live is the place to do so. Anderson says Liverpool will nick this game by 3-1. Matt says that penalty is why people around the world seem to be falling out of love with the football business. It made me turn off for a few seconds, but he is back now, so that's good. It only annoyed him for a few seconds. RDF says it was a clear foul on Sadio Mane. I suppose in 2020 it is, but it wasn't enough to put a grown man to the ground. But if you think that's a penalty, then you're in the majority at the moment, it would seem. Adenta says, why is VAR not in play with penalties like that? And Morrow says, the commentators only moaning because it's Liverpool. I do love football fans, but you've got to get over yourself. 23 minutes gone, 1-0 to Liverpool, and they've won the ball back in the central midfield. Here's Wijnaldum onto Jota, back to Wijnaldum in the centre circle, pressured by De Bruyne and Torres and Raheem Sterling, but good play by Joel Matip, under pressure to find a pass out right to Alexander-Arnold, who goes long straight to the goalkeeper Ederson. In the end, though, far too heavy from Alexander-Arnold, and hasn't been much of a reaction from Manchester City in the 10 minutes since going behind, Paul.
No, there hasn't been anything from them. I'm just here looking at my sheet now. I'm looking at their bench already, to be perfectly honest. I'm wondering how they can improve on this, and it has to be in the midfield, and De Bruyne hasn't been in the game so far, so you got to think, how are you going to get him and Sterling into the game? I think you've got to bring someone who can knit something together, and you have to look at bringing on Foden. at least at half-time, get them on the park to try and knit something together. If Mahrez was playing, was on the bench, I would say get Mahrez on at the moment. Torres can't get in the game. They need somebody who can do something different and play with the ball as well as without the ball. And at the moment, Torres isn't doing any of the above at the moment. So they need something out there for when they get on the ball, because when they get on the ball, they're their own worst enemy, City, and that's a strange thing to be saying about City again.
Phil Foden has come on in the last 2 Premier League games, started the 7 previous, either side of the summer break. It's Kevin De Bruyne trying to create here, though, right to left cross into Raheem Sterling. Sterling shoots, saved by Alisson, and that's cleared away by Matip as it just spun up over the goalkeeper's head, recovered by Jordan Henderson. Before that there was a foul, and so Liverpool will now have a free kick midway inside their own half.
I don't know who that was who got caught up there to lose the ball, but De Bruyne puts the ball across and he just overcooks it a bit, so he goes around the back of the 6-yard box, and by the time it gets to Sterling, who hasn't got a left foot, he's had to try and get it on his right foot. By then the angles really changed for him, and there's 2 players on the line. It come difficult in the end, but that was a golden opportunity for them to get back into the game.
25 minutes gone here, 1-0 to Liverpool against Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium. Tom Rennie and Paul Parker with you. Keep your tweets coming in at TalkSport Live. We will run through them at the next break in play. But we are back underway here with Trent Alexander-Arnold, right-hand side for Liverpool. Pokes it down the line to the man in form, Thiago Jota, short to Salah, space to control and turn, and pass towards Firmino. Looked to slip it in behind the central defenders. Walker went with him. Touch too heavy, through to the goalkeeper again. Really, really excellent performance so far from Liverpool. They've pressed, they've hassled, they've not wasted too many opportunities to play the right through ball. They just look all over Manchester City's backline. The front 4 has worked a treat so far for Jurgen Klopp. I don't know whether Guardiola wasn't quite expecting it or you just can't plan for it. But so far, Liverpool dominating the match, very much the better side.
Yeah, I don't think they expected it, to be perfectly honest, and it's working at the moment. But if there's a side that could break it down, it has to be a side that's willing to pass the ball and be brave enough, and City generally are that team you'd look to actually to sort this problem out. But I just think at the moment the personnel they have on the pitch just aren't doing it. They do need help now. They need to change it up a little bit.
Kyle Walker just inside his own half, short to Rodrigo, to his left he will find Laporte on the halfway, digs one left to right into the feet of Jesus, who's pulled out on the right hand side. Ferran Torres now in the centre of the Manchester City front 3. Laporte down the line into the feet of Gundogan, left of centre, looks diagonal towards Jesus, intercepted by the chest of the retreating Sadio Mane, taken over by Robertson, who can bring Liverpool up the field. Tries a forward pass, blocked by Kyle Walker. That's a throw-in on this left-hand side to Liverpool as the rain just starts to trickle down in Manchester. Has been a mild but gloomy day. Just what you'd expect from Manchester, really. Now it's just raining a bit more steadily. Ball will be moving a bit more slickly. You usually say that would favour Manchester City, but the way this opening 27 minutes have gone, I think maybe that's what Liverpool might want. And they do have to hit you on the break as well, Liverpool, don't they? And Man City need to come out now. They've won the ball well here. Cancelo robs it off Alexander-Arnold. His second touch is poor, though. His third has just poked through to Raheem Sterling. He gets pickpocketed by Jordan Henderson. Liverpool can come forward again. Ball slipped into Salah in the centre circle. To his right is Wijnaldum. 3 to his left to aim for Wijnaldum as he edges forward. Firmino is outside. Here he is now. Not a great ball to him. It's forced him wide. Brazilian has picked it up there by the corner flag. Gundogan for company. Back towards Alexander-Arnold. Into Jota. Back to Alexander-Arnold. Henderson 2 yards over the halfway line. Back to Matip. Into Wijnaldum, whose poor pass ended the last attack, but they have kept possession. Playing so well here, Liverpool. You can see them approaching top gear in the Champions League in midweek, and they've retained that here against Manchester City. Still scratching around for form. Henderson forward, fired into Salah, looks to find Sadio Mane here. Oh, and the ball was just spinning towards the goalkeeper as opposed to Mane. And Ederson gets there first. His big clearance towards Jesus, overhit. And that's all the way through to Alisson, goalkeeper to goalkeeper.
Yeah, they really do need half-time to come quickly, City, at this moment, just to go in at 1-0. Every time they go forward, you just believe they haven't got the confidence to go through with it, and they're going to get caught out in the counter-attack.
Approaching half an hour gone here. Manchester City 0, Liverpool 1 on Premier League Live. Anderson says to @TalkSport Live, I think the City style of play has been discovered. They'll be lucky to get anything from this game. Guardiola needs a new idea. @TalkSport Live is the place to get in touch with us. Ed says the game has gone. 2 players competing for the ball does not make a foul. I'm not even sure they're competing for the ball. I think they just brush past each other. They're just running near each other. That's going to happen in football. If that was 40 yards out, Mane would not have hit the deck, and that is always going to not sit right with a lot of football fans that I would include myself in. But again, the counterpoint is, don't ask, don't get. And that must be so frustrating as a defender, Paul. Because you know they're going to dive, right?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, it's making it very, very difficult for the art of defending when you know you can't make any contact. And yes, you do want to try and nick the ball, but sometimes you are going to get close to people and you're going to brush by. You're going to try and get round in front of them, and you are going to touch them. You don't expect any man to fall down just because he's been brushed.
No. Here's Kyle Walker, who gave that penalty away. Coming forward for City onto De Bruyne in the area. Jesus, lovely first touch, better second touch. He's levelled things up. Brilliant strikers play by Gabriel Jesus. First touch to turn the defender, second to poke past the goalkeeper. Absolutely fantastic goal. And Man City, having played poorly, are back in the game at 1-1.
Yeah, and they got De Bruyne in a good area. He actually got this one going, and one go down as maybe one of the better goals that City have orchestrated, but it will go for the fact they needed something. He gets on the ball, Jesus, he touch, and I'll tell you what, he left Trent Alexander-Arnold he didn't know what was going on. He lets the ball run to his back foot, and then he brings it back inside, and Trent Alexander-Arnold couldn't go anywhere near it because the only time he saw the ball was when it was goal side of him, and he can't touch him. He didn't see the ball as it was going to him, otherwise he would have defended better.
That is a striker's finish from Gabriel Jesus. Scored in both appearances this season. Well, he's now scored in another 3-3 for him as Kevin De Bruyne strikes here from distance. It was skidding off the surface from Kevin De Bruyne, just dragged wide in the end. Space for Kevin De Bruyne to control, turn and shoot. That does not reflect well on the Liverpool midfield. And De Bruyne should have hit the target.
Yeah, and we've seen him twice now inside of 30 seconds. That's the best it's been for him and Man City at this moment in time. We'll see how Liverpool deal with this. 1 minute they're coasting, given a little bit of good fortune by the fact with a penalty, even though the way they were playing they deserved to be in front. Now let's see how they deal with this moment now when they was really in control of the game.
Gabriel Jesus has now scored 3-3, as we say, before today. Scoring in both appearances this season. The win over Wolves in September, the victory over Olympiacos here on Tuesday, scoring again tonight. And there is games in recent weeks, thinking about the West Ham game, the Leeds game, where it did look like they needed a striker on the field, and Guardiola has made that point a few times, even asking people to get the world's smallest violins out, saying that they just didn't have the money to bring in another striker this summer. Well, luckily for them and for him, Jesus is back, and that was a real striker's goal. It was a bit Ian Wright-esque in the way it was struck in, I think. Really good finish.
You just mean, by the way, that bit of skill he showed?
More the poke than the skill, but...
Yeah, I mean, that was a poacher's finish when he poked at his toe, but his first touch, what he done, Trent Alexander-Arnold didn't know where the ball was when it was coming in, and the only time he saw the ball was when it was in front of him, but he was facing the wrong way, so he couldn't make any challenge to the ball because it would have been an own goal, or even he would have, Liverpool might have had a penalty given away against them.
Not to say that Ian Wright couldn't have done that skill, you understand, but just reminded me to struck. Anyway, Jesus here is the man you can hear screaming on our effects mics. He was trying to put some pressure on Trent Alexander-Arnold. The referee said it was too much pressure, gives a free kick Liverpool's way. 34 minutes gone here. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1 on Premier League Live. Mo Salah with a penalty in the 12th minute, controversially awarded after Sadio Mane hit the deck. Gabriel Jesus levelling things up on 32 minutes, and we're just seeing a replay there of that skill and strike from Gabriel Jesus. Really, really impressive from him. As Liverpool, who have been the better side, come forward again down the left-hand side with Sadio Mane, challenged by Diaz, breaks to Robertson, left-footed cross, away by Laporte. Gundogan only finds Jota. Oh, and he just couldn't get the strike away with any real venom. Thiago Jota broke to him nicely after Gundogan's poor touch. If that was against Atalanta in midweek, would have been top corner today. Scuffed it just wide.
Yeah, it's the first time he's been in the game for a little while. Jota, he's stepped inside now. He's come off of that touchline position. So it'll be interesting who goes out wide now. Do you know what? I'm just watching that bit there. Torres was having his shirt pulled right in front of the assistant referee, and the assistant referee never flagged once. He only flagged to give the throw the other way.
It's amazing how some things are fouls and some things aren't, isn't it? It is difficult to kind of assess that. It's all a matter of subjective opinion, I know, but anyway, as AP says to us on Twitter, diving, it frustrates people, but it is part of the game. We all need to get used to it, and I think we are used to it, but it doesn't mean we've got to like it. It doesn't mean we've got to not call it out when we see it, even though it is part of the game. Here's Gomez looking along to try and find Salah. Not a great ball from him. Liverpool just lost their way in the last couple of minutes since the goal. As Gundogan picks up just on the lip of the centre circle in his own half. How do you see the next 10 minutes playing out, Paul?
I would think that both sides would like to slow it down and be content where they are at this moment in time. More so City, they're back in the game. They need to find their feet. They need to get their better players more into the game. They don't need their centre half giving the ball away like that under no pressure at all.
Down the right hand side, Liverpool have retaken possession. Jota bundling through players, but rather going nowhere with it, and Manchester City can retake possession. Thus far in the game, possession does favour Manchester City, 57-43 in their favour. 2 shots from the home side, both on target, one going in. Liverpool 3 attempts, 1 on target, and the penalty 2 from Mo Salah. Really beautifully struck. Wasn't tempted to go for a lookman. Those that saw the 97th minute Fulham Panenka last night. As Scott Parker, the Fulham boss, said, take a penalty like that, you've got to score it. I would say get a penalty, you've got to score it.
So from 1972, now 2020, it's gone from now being called a lookman.
Yes, that's what. If you miss, it's a lookman.
Right.
If you score, it's a Panenka. That's how I'm sure Fulham fans will think of it anyway.
I saw one today being shown around, by the way, of Jermaine Genius.
Oh, right. What, scoring a Panenka?
No, he put it over the bar. For Newcastle. The best bit I was watching Sir Bobby Robson on the touchline. It was fantastic.
Did he take it well?
Oh, yeah, no.
Back here in 2020, City are coming forward down the left-hand side with Raheem Sterling faced away from goal. Finds Rodrigo behind him, forward to De Bruyne, onto Kyle Walker, right to Ferran Torres, running at Robertson for the first time really in this match. He runs away from him, back to Kevin De Bruyne, onto Kyle Walker getting forward, spaced across, does whip it over, overhit, recovered by Jota, who knocks one upfield. Diaz gets there before Salah, breaks to Jota again, who lobs one over the top to Mo Salah on the halfway line. Cancelo will just nick the ball off Mo Salah on the halfway line, and that's a throw in to Liverpool as they regroup and start to push some players upfield. Has the shape of Liverpool worked in the 39 minutes we've seen so far, Paul, do you think?
Oh, without a doubt it's worked for them. They just haven't really taken advantage of it in the possession and the areas they've got into.
Robertson's been caught out here, and De Bruyne can get into the space that he is in. And he crosses, and it's hit Gomez. And as Paul Parker says, as you can hear the City players say, they think it's handball off Joe Gomez. Now, if his arm is in an expected position, then it will not be a penalty. If he's trying to make himself bigger and it's not an expected position, it'll be a handball. And in truth, like many of us, that could go either way. I've no idea. What do you think?
I think that's handball, because it's away from, he's turned his arm away. I think that's handball.
Well, Craig Pawson has said corner, and so Paul Tierney, the VAR, would need to overturn this as a clear and obvious error, not support the initial decision. So it has to be clear and obvious right now to Paul Tierney, the VAR, who is looking at it right now. And we're just hearing a little bit of that on our monitors there, so maybe we'll just get a bit more of that if possible. I think we might have accidentally just heard a bit of that, and what we heard was go and look at it on the monitor. So he didn't feel the need to go and look at the monitor when Sadio Mane dived for a penalty, but he does feel the need to go and look at the monitor when there's a dubious handball. Why not look at them both? To be sure, you're the referee, Craig. Is this going to get overturned, Paul? What do you think?
I like to believe they'll give it, because I think that's handball.
But I mean, to play devil's advocate here, I mean, where is his arm going to go? He is trying to pull it out of the way. He's not trying to make the save. They're down by his sides, his arms, but not exactly. But what would he instinctively do with his arms there?
I mean, you see everyone now, it's behind their back.
Penalty given. Penalty has been given for handball, overturned by the VAR. Craig Pawson didn't give it. Paul Tierney said review, and he has now looked at the monitors and given handball. And I don't know, Paul. I really don't know. You think it is handball?
Listen,
I would say I'm on the fence with that.
I'm not 100%, but just the way this is going, I don't think you can go 100%. You just don't know who's in the office today and what mood they're in. You really don't know. There's nothing. I feel sorry for Joe Gomez. There's nowhere what he could have done with his arm.
If they're asking if the arm is in an expected position, that is where I would expect his arm to be, so I would not give it. But Paul Tierney does not agree, and we have a penalty here. Kevin De Bruyne to give Manchester City the lead, having trailed to a controversial penalty earlier in the game. Once again, Craig Pawson, the referee, makes sure the players are behind the line of penalty area. And Kevin De Bruyne steps up. Oh, he's put it wide. Kevin De Bruyne has put the penalty wide. Goalkeeper went down to his left. The ball went to the other side, and it's gone wide. Unbelievable. Kevin De Bruyne. You'd have bet the mortgage, your mum's mortgage, the car, the kids' college fund on Kevin De Bruyne scoring there, and you'd have lost the lot. Still 1-1.
Well, I mean, that's actually missed the post by quite a bit, hasn't it, really?
Well, what a game we have had, full of controversy. Liverpool coming forward here, cross left to right, cleared away, recovered by Wijnaldum in the centre circle. Liverpool have a chance here with Henderson. Diagonal ball to Roberto Firmino, pushing back towards Robertson on the left hand side. Firmino is end line side of Cancelo. Cross comes in, away by Ruben Dias near post. Rodrigo hacks it upfield. Gomez in the halfway, poor touch. De Bruyne is there. Gomez just gets it back to Alisson under some pressure. He's done well there, Joe Gomez. Somewhat nerve-wracking to see Kevin De Bruyne chasing you down.
Yeah, he was in a difficult situation there. He was just being run down, and he knew his first touch had to be right. He took the right first touch because he took his first touch to go back towards goal rather than go forward. If he'd have been going forward and caught out, that was one. De Bruyne would have gone on and been 1 against 1.
Wijnaldum here forward towards Firmino, bundled off it by Kyle Walker. Robertson gets Liverpool back in possession. Firmino with players around him does a lovely turn into Wijnaldum, onto Henderson over the top towards Sadio Mane, who's goal side of Diaz, and 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. Oh, he's cut back across the penalty area. Diaz has held him up. It's on to Mo Salah. City get players back here. Alexander-Arnold, save! Jota's there. Oh, Ederson has just got the second ball. He made the save, and then the ball was loose momentarily. Jota looked to steal. Ederson got back and stopped him.
Well, I think that was just poor defending in the end. I have to say, Diaz got caught out. His position wasn't right against Mane, and the ball manages to get wide to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who strikes it just hard at the near post, and he gets stuck somewhere underneath Ederson's legs, and he manages to snatch it back just in front of the goal line in the end. But that comes about, I think Torres has really struggled, really cannot get in the game at all. I don't know if it is he doesn't like being out in a wide position, but he's just been anonymous really, and he's the one who's been caught out in the attacking half, but it caused a problem for City.
45 minutes gone here. Man City make a move down the left-hand side, poked in towards the penalty area, cleared away by Joe Gomez. Chance here for City to have, well, I would say a final attack of the half, but 2 penalties, VAR checks, another goal on top of that. We may have a few minutes added on here as Kyle Walker retrieves in the centre of the field. Outright to Ferran Torres. Been a bit overwhelmed so far by this game, as you say. Chance here, though, to make an impact. Low cross in the end line, recovered by Alisson. Almost on his goal line, but no one was sniffing around him, so no real risk. Just 3 minutes added on at the end of this half. I'm surprised by that. Liverpool look to capitalise in this time. Jota over the halfway right-hand side. The man signed from Wolves in the summer. Mane looks to turn Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz makes a poor challenge there. That one is a foul on Sadio Mane, and it's a free kick for Liverpool 30-odd yards out on the right-hand side.
Yeah, he's just got too close, and he's trying to go for a ball which he actually can't see, Ruben Diaz. He didn't know exactly where the ball was, and he's gone for it. And once you dangle a leg anywhere near Mane or Salah, then you're asking for trouble.
But I mean, how can you play against that unless you're protected by the officials? You know, we've got to protect attacking players, but you've also, defenders have a right to tackle you. They have a right to put some physical pressure on you. You know, and it's just gone too far the other way at the moment for me. Certainly in Liverpool games in recent times. A great chance here for the Reds. It is 1-1. They've been the better side for the majority of the half, though since Gabriel Jesus levelled things up on 32, it's evened out somewhat. They have Trent Alexander-Arnold over it, also Robertson, Henderson, Salah all around. A 2-man wall for Liverpool in front of a longer wall for City, and it's Alexander-Arnold after a shift and shoot, but he hits it over the top. Does the Liverpool right back, trying to make a better angle. I'm not really sure that helped out very much.
No, the ball didn't shift far enough right, to be honest, so he could go around that outside of the wall and trying to hit that top left-hand corner.
47 minutes gone here. It is Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1 on Premier League Live. Goal kick to Manchester City, which is taken long by Ederson. One in the air by Gomez. Second ball won by Firmino. Salah is running, Jota is running, it's into Jota, pokes it towards Salah. Here's Salah on the edge, onto Firmino. Challenged by Cancelo. Surely a foul there by Roberto Firmino as he stretched out. Caught Cancelo, don't know how much, but did get him a bit there as he overstretched for it. Liverpool just didn't get their angles right, their passes right at the vital moment.
Do you know what, Tom? I'm looking and I'm seeing that everyone seems to be struggling for movement, and the pitch is really, really firm, seriously firm, because players are struggling to really move their feet quickly, because I think they're worried about slipping as well. They're not being able to dig their studs or what they've got on their feet into that surface. It's like virtually they're playing on a plastic pitch. They're running very tentatively.
Rain is really coming down, isn't it? In the last few minutes it's picked up, so the players might welcome the half-time whistle, which has just gone. And the score is 1-1. Very good half of football from an entertainment perspective. Mo Salah giving Liverpool the lead in the 12th minute from the penalty spot after Sadio Mane took a dive for a penalty and got the spot kick. Gabriel Jesus levelled things up after a lovely passing move. 19 passes in the build-up before Jesus' turn and goal. Kevin De Bruyne then missed the late penalty given for handball. First man to miss the target completely in a Premier League game since Riyad Mahrez in this fixture at Anfield back in 2018. At the break, it's 1-1. Analysis to follow. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Evenings with James Whale on Talk Radio. Keep connected with round-the-clock news, essential information and expert insight.
I think we've got to be very careful about the way this has all been going on.
Cutting through the confusion with everything you need to stay safe, informed and entertained.
Everyone's going on about, we should be tracking and testing, and I just don't know how that is going to happen.
Evenings with James Whale. Weeknights from 7 on Talk Radio.
In a world of 24/7 global sportscasting and instant news infotainment, one man bestrides the airwaves like a snow-capped Caledonian colossus.
Hello, I'm Jim White.
Jim White, anchorman.
Mid-morning news team, assemble.
Jim White and Natalie Sawyer, the #1 rated news source for breaking sports stories, big-name guests, and liquid showbiz charisma.
Great Odin's Raven. That's quite a transfer.
There's nothing burgundy about Jim White. Tomorrow morning from 10 on TalkSport.
In the spring of the year 2020 AD, a deadly enemy rages like a torrent of fire between the ends of empire.
My name is Maximus Talks Sportus Pandemicus, gladiator of the sports radio. Gird up your loins and battle the invasion of COVID-19, because what you do today will echo in eternity.
TalkSport Legion, assume tortoise formation against COVID-19.
Show this virus no mercy by keeping a distance of at least 2 meters at all times. That's 6.75 Roman feet centurions. Together, Legion, Talk Sportus can defeat it.
Talk Sportus Maximus.
On my signal, unleash hand sanitizer.
Keep it on, stay informed, and give coronavirus the red cardus.
Are you not hand sanitized?
20 years of Talk Sport.
Gentlemen, good evening.
There's no such thing as an overnight success.
Accrington Stanley 4, titanium plasmatronic death droids from the future, 0.
Excess.
I wasn't getting up, I was just getting in.
Excitement.
Excuse me,
and extremely strong opinions.
I spend my life covering the big game at the big level.
On DAB, medium wave, and on your smart speaker. 20 years of Talk Sport.
For all the latest news, opinions and advice, listen to Talk Radio throughout the day and stay informed as events unfold.
We're now in a position to start implementing the next part of our plan.
Find out what's happening now and what may happen next, all day, every day.
If the government gets to grips with the plan, then surely we will be able to see light at the end of the tunnel.
Listen now on DAB Digital Radio, online, via the Talk Radio app, or ask your smart speaker to play Talk Radio.
Half time here on Premier League Live. Big game of the weekend, big game of the day. Man City against Liverpool, the runners-up of last season against the champions, of course, in Liverpool. Great half of football, controversy, goals, everything you want from a top Premier League match. Here's the best of it. Great half of football from an entertainment perspective, no doubt about that. 1-1, Salah in the 12th minute, Jesus in the 32nd, De Bruyne missing a penalty. First man to miss the target in a Premier League game since Riyad Mahrez did the same thing in this game at Anfield back in October 2018. Paul Parker, Premier League veteran, is with me. Paul, let's talk about the first penalty awarded for a brush from Walker on Sadio Mane. Now, we've had people on Twitter all over the world, our colleagues here as well, have all said, in 2020, that's a penalty, and people like me just need to swallow that down. Right. Now, you've played right back in the Premier League. Do you think that would have been a penalty in 1995?
No, not a chance. Not a chance, because a brush wouldn't be enough. A player would go down because it's actually been knocked over as such, and that wasn't knocked over. It was a brushing of two people with shorts brushing against each other, and as they say now in 2020, you can get penalties like that. They're not penalties, and when I keep hearing people come out and say, but there was contact, I think to myself, is this football, or are they talking about something like ballet or something like that? I don't know.
Why do you think that's become the prevailing opinion? Because it's not just like the majority of our listeners, it would seem, but also it's the referee, Craig Pawson, it's the video assistant referee who hasn't seen enough of a clear and obvious error to overturn it, and it just feels like that is the prevailing wind, and we're the only people fighting against it. Why do you think that's happened, and can it be reversed?
Well, of course it can be reversed, but it's going to take a bit of a while for people. I mean, we're always going to argue about penalties, but now it's just becoming that way now, where you've got a choice: you either accept soft penalties or you keep speaking out about them. But until such time that a player is actually going to be booked for diving, this will carry on and on and on. So
we've had a debate about diving. That was difficult. Let's get to the handball, shall we? Handball later in the half. Joe Gomez is the man adjudged to have handballed it. You called it handball in commentary. I am not sure. I would expect Joe Gomez's arm to be in that position, and therefore it's in an expected position, according to the new interpretation with the Premier League at least, and so it shouldn't be given. Seemed to me like Champions League penalty, Premier League not a penalty, but you don't agree?
It's not about not agreeing. I just looked at it as it is today, and I'm saying, I thought to myself, that's a really good chance of being a penalty. I think if Joe Gomez, instead of turning his body away, if he'd actually had his body facing as when that ball was coming in, that would have caught him on the top of his arm by his side. But because he turns away, as he turns away, his left hand and his elbow goes up, and his arm comes up, and that makes it look as if he's put his hand up for the ball. And I think that's the only way it can be, because it is a position you would normally take. You wouldn't turn and with your arm down by the side, or everyone would call you a robot.
Yes.
So your arm comes up, but because he turns away, it makes it look worse than what it was. And so that's why the referee's given it. And that's the reason why I keep saying you need somebody with these planks in that broom cupboard next to him who understands football, the game, and about situations players are in, the momentum, the motions of people's bodies in certain situations. For you to throw that doubt in and say, I don't think he meant that. This is what happens when that situation, when you move your body, this is where your arm goes. Because those people in the broom cupboard have never really been out in the light, and they don't really understand what football is.
And just finally, the Gabriel Jesus goal. We've talked about the two penalty incidents and expressed our shock live when Kevin De Bruyne missed that second penalty. But what about the goal for Gabriel Jesus? Tremendous striker's goal. Did you feel any sympathy for Trent Alexander-Arnold, who, well, he's, I think, already in the dressing room, isn't he, following that? I don't think he came back.
Well, initially he looked like, I thought he was going out. I think he still thinks the burger stands are open in the grounds. They're not. They're closed. There's nobody in there anymore. But he couldn't see the ball. That was the problem. He put himself in a position where he didn't know where the ball was, and the only time he saw the ball was once that ball hits the furthest foot away from the ball, and he flicks it back a little bit like a Cruyff turn, and that's when he saw it. And if he'd made any kind of challenge in trying to get that ball, he would have given away a penalty. He was fooled because of his starting position was so poor that he couldn't see man and ball.
Earlier today in the Premier League, Leicester City took top spot. They beat Wolverhampton Wanderers by 1-0 in the game before this one. Before that, Spurs were temporarily top of the tree. A 1-0 victory for them against West Bromwich Albion. Harry Kane with a late goal for Jose Mourinho's side. Let's hear from Mourinho and the West Bromwich Albion manager, Slaven Bilic, speaking to us post-match.
On and off the ball, of course, making the runs, making the good decisions, being very positive and front-footed. Whether you press, whether you defend, whatever, for second balls, then we will have a genuine chance. Then we will have chances in every game.
Performance can always be better. Even today, we have to play better. We have to kill the game before, but I go for the positives too, and that resilience and that desire and commitment to try until the end is very important. But you will see the table after every match, and for sure 2 victories you go up and 2 victories you go down, and this is the Premier League. Some other countries are not interesting.
Yeah, thoughts there of Jose Mourinho, manager of Tottenham Hotspur. Temporarily top for a couple of hours. Leicester took it off them. Liverpool can end the day and going to international break top of the table if they win this one. At the moment, it's only 1-1 at the Etihad Stadium between Manchester City and the Reds. Second half follows this. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Evenings with James Whale on Talk Radio. Keep connected with round-the-clock news, essential information and expert insight.
I think we've got to be very careful about the way this has all been going on.
Cutting through the confusion with everything you need to stay safe, informed and entertained.
Everyone's going on about, we should be tracking and testing, and I just don't know how that is going to happen.
Evenings with James Whale. Weeknights from 7 on Talk Radio.
In a world of 24/7 global sportscasting and instant news infotainment, one man bestrides the airwaves like a snow-capped Caledonian colossus.
Hello, I'm Jim White.
Jim White, anchorman.
Mid-morning news team, assemble.
Jim White and Natalie Sawyer, the #1 rated news source for breaking sports stories, big-name guests, and liquid showbiz charisma.
Great Odin's Raven. That's quite a transfer.
There's nothing burgundy about Jim White. Tomorrow morning from 10 on Talk Sport.
In the spring of the year 2020 AD, a deadly enemy rages like a torrent of fire between the ends of empire.
My name is Maximus Talk Sportus Pandemicus, gladiator of the sports radio. Gird up your loins and battle the invasion of COVID-19, because what you do today will echo in eternity.
Talk Sport Legion, assume tortoise formation against COVID-19.
Show this virus no mercy by keeping a distance of at least 2 meters at all times. That's 6.75 Roman feet centurions. Together, Legion, Talk Sportus can defeat it.
Talk Sportus Maximus.
On my signal, unleash hand sanitizer.
Keep it on, stay informed, and give coronavirus the red cardus.
Are you not hand sanitized?
20 years of Talk Sport.
Gentlemen, good evening.
There's no such thing as an overnight success.
Accrington Stanley 4, titanium plasmatronic death droids from the future, 0.
Excess.
Wasn't getting up, I was just getting in.
Excitement.
Excuse me,
and extremely strong opinions.
I spend my life covering the big game at the big level.
On DAB, medium wave, and on your smart speaker. 20 years of Talk Sport.
For all the latest news, opinions and advice, listen to Talk Radio throughout the day and stay informed as events unfold.
We're now in a position to start implementing the next part of our plan.
Find out what's happening now and what may happen next, all day, every day.
If the government gets to grips with the plan, then surely we will be able to see light at the end of the tunnel.
Listen now on DAB Digital Radio, online, via the Talk Radio app, or ask your smart speaker to play Talk Radio.
You are listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester City against Liverpool from the Etihad Stadium. I'm your host, Tom Rennie. Alongside me for this one, the former Manchester United and England fullback Paul Parker. This is Premier League Live. This is 1-1 at half-time. Mo Salah with the opening goal on 12 minutes from the penalty spot, controversially awarded for a challenge on Sadio Mane. Gabriel Jesus levelled things up on 32 minutes. Kevin De Bruyne then missed a penalty just before half-time to see things level at the break. Second half is now underway. I'll run you through the two teams, starting with Manchester City. Ederson in goal, back four left to right. Joao Cancelo, Aymeric Laporte, Ruben Dias and Kyle Walker. In midfield, Gundogan, Rodrigo and Kevin De Bruyne. Up front for Manchester City, Raheem Sterling, Gabriel Jesus and Ferran Torres. On the bench for Manchester City, Zach Steffen, John Stones, Nathan Ake, Alexander Zinchenko, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden and Eric Garcia. A strong challenge here on Kevin De Bruyne, just over the halfway line from Joel Matip, may well result in a yellow card for the Liverpool central defender. Yes, it will. Our first yellow card of the match by my count. On to Liverpool. Alisson in goal. Back four is Andrew Robertson, Joe Gomez, Joel Matip, who is now booked, and Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jordan Henderson, Jorginho Wijnaldum in the central midfield. The front four, Mo Salah, Roberto Firmino, Diogo Jota and Sadio Mane. On the bench, Adrian, James Milner, Naby Keita, Curtis Jones, Xherdan Shaqiri, Divock Origi, Nathaniel Phillips. Craig Pawson, our referee. Paul Tierney, the VAR. Andre Mariner is the fourth official, getting it in both ears from both managers. The rain continues to fall consistently in Manchester. A grey, gloomy day. What more could you ask for in Manchester? So much to answer for. What about that challenge on Kevin De Bruyne from Joel Matip? Yellow card given. It was a bit of a stamper from the Liverpool central defender.
There was no nastiness about that. He hasn't got that about him. He's gone there, and to be honest, it was just a quick movement of that left foot, really, of De Bruyne that has made him look quite statue-like, really, and he's looked worse than what it really was, to be honest. And De Bruyne will come back and he'll be absolutely fine. Again, the yellow card, was it really warranted? I don't think it was.
We are where we are with football. I think that's all there is to say on that sort of thing. And
was he God?
Well, City took the free kick short.
Really, I don't believe what's going on now.
Cancelo and Jota have run into each other. Jota has gone down, and the referee has given a free kick Liverpool's way moments after City take it. Now, he swung his right arm back to protect the ball.
Yeah, which is a normal movement. He catches him, and because he goes down holding his face, the referee goes, that's a foul. And now the next challenger Cancelo makes, the referee would want to book him.
Really?
He's just shocking.
Scratchy. Opening couple of minutes of this half. Liverpool fire that one down the right channel, trying to release Salah on the run. Laporte wanted the goalkeeper to come out for it, didn't. And in the end, Laporte has to clear it out of play for a throw on this right-hand side. Liverpool attacking the goal away to our right in the second period. Red shirts, red shorts, red socks, white numbering and trim. City the other way, right to left as we're looking. Sky blue shirts with that bottom of the swimming pool effect on the front of it. White shorts and sky blue socks. They're chasing the ball now. Goalkeeper Alisson has it, all in yellow, away to our left for Liverpool. And the Reds will look to play their way through the thirds. Mo Salah drops deep. It's into Henderson. Good ball into the feet of Jota, who runs diagonal right to left. Midway inside City territory. Into Sadio Mane. Robertson overlapping. Here he is now. Robertson's cross. Away by Ederson. Diving out. Punches away. Gundogan clears. Wijnaldum loses the 50-50. And Ferran Torres can bring City upfield. Plays in Kevin De Bruyne, right-hand side. Low ball in. Alisson gets there before Jesus could turn it home.
Yeah, Jesus should have gone across the front of Alisson now, and that would have affected him, but just him and Sterling were virtually making identical runs, which is more middle and back of the goal. Neither of them really went across the front. One of them has to affect the eye of the goalkeeper.
Here's Sadio Mane on the edge of the penalty area, up against Rodrigo. He'll find Salah, bit of space to shift and shoot, deflected. Ederson away, controlled by Jota, he can shoot again, saved by the goalkeeper Ederson again.
That would have been offside, without a doubt. That has to be offside. Initial from the first shot has to be. Mane has to be offside.
Oh, I don't know. We're seeing a replay now. It will be inconsequential in the end. They allowed it to play out, as is the way in 2020. But somewhat calamitous defending. Look, anyone would struggle against the front four Liverpool have, but it didn't quite feel like Man City had that under control there.
No, they definitely didn't. But I must say, if I look at these two as a centre-half pairing, they've looked better than what I've seen a lot of them in the recent seasons. Laporte and Diaz.
Here is Laporte. Fires one up towards the halfway line. Over on the right, Kyle Walker lets the ball run across his body, runs into touch there, and just a lot of that, isn't there, today? Is that to do with the surface? Poor players just can't keep their feet, as you were saying?
Yeah, it was definitely, I mean, the zip on the pitch, yes, with the rain coming down, but because the grass is so short and the pitch is so firm, you can hear the bounce still, and you don't generally always hear that with rain. Saying that, I'm maybe going back to when I was playing, when the pitches were mud, but pitches like this, you got them in the start of the season, and that was it. But definitely, every time that ball hits the ground, it comes up really high if it's a long one. But the moment players cannot fire things in through straight lines low, because it will go straight through to the goalkeeper because of the surface is that firm.
Very much a pass that both of these sides like to make as well. At the moment, City playing the ball back towards their own goalkeeper from the right-hand side. Diaz will find Ederson. Forward to Laporte. Laporte to the halfway line where Cancelo looks to knock it inside away from Jordan Henderson. It hit Henderson, went back to Cancelo. Cancelo couldn't take it, and Liverpool have a throw on the halfway line in front of both managers who are standing up on the edge of their technical area. Jurgen Klopp in the club shop as usual. Liverpool hat, Liverpool coat. Guardiola a touch more hirsute in those jackets he loves, the kind of half-knitted jackets with a hood on top. A navy number this year to replace the famous grey outfit. Ball over the top here from right to left, trying to release Sterling from Gundogan, goes into touch. That's a throw-in for Liverpool in the right-back area.
I would say that Pep goes to a more expensive shop than Klopp, who goes to the Liverpool club shop.
You've not been to a club shop recently, have you? Shirts are 70 quid.
I'd rather go where Pep goes, to be honest.
Both probably pretty expensive, though I think maybe Klopp gets given his. Imagine a job where they give you clothes. Wouldn't that be amazing? Well, you've done it, I suppose. Do you still have loads of Man United, like coats and things, in your house?
Nope.
Do you throw them all away?
Nothing away. Why are you going to have all that? You're never going to wear it.
They're nice and warm, aren't they?
Yeah, I suppose.
Football coats.
I suppose they are, really.
I was at a West Ham game with Stuart Pearce about a year and a half ago, and he was still wearing a Man City jacket that he got when he was managing them 15 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, he's got the stuff now, hasn't he? What are you going to throw away for? Good coat, that.
Yep, you normally see him wearing Warrington Wolves stuff now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's got he does a lot of training and a little bit of coaching with the rugby league side.
Is that right?
Yes, very much so. Yes. He's got a good relationship with them.
And part of David Moyes' setup as well, so at the very least, if it all goes wrong, he gets a nice new outfit out of it as well, so that's the important thing. 53 minutes gone here, second half not quite as electric as the first.
Well, it couldn't be like that again, Tom. That was so open. You wouldn't have believed you're watching supposedly two of the best sides in the country, the way they started that game.
But it's so hard to defend against, isn't it? That's the thing, the quality of the attacks from both sides.
Yeah.
Though Liverpool haven't really threatened too much. There's not been a great deal for Ederson to save. Stats tell us 6 attempts, 2 on target, but nothing really too threatening. Ball is with Alisson, who's been just as unoccupied as Ederson for much of the match. No direct shots to save, though plenty of low crosses to deal with. Cancelo forward here down the left channel here towards Jesus, who wants a free kick for the contact with Matip. Doesn't get it. Try it in the area. Give it a whirl. Here's Jordan Henderson on the edge of his own. He'll find Joe Gomez. Back towards Alisson. What do you make of Joe Gomez, Paul Parker, as the replacement for Virgil van Dijk as lead centre-half?
Well, those two have played together, and Gomez obviously relished playing with him, and it really enhanced his career to actually even more play next to him. Is he a number one? Only time will tell really how Liverpool go. Liverpool go on a big run of winning games, and obviously then people are going to throw him into that.
Oh, a lovely ball here to Gabriel Jesus. Oh, he's headed wide. It was a clip left to right from Cancelo into his path. Jesus made the diagonal run, and he's onside, and he's missed it. Well, that's a sitter.
That was an absolute sitter, and you're asking me then about Joe Gomez. He switched off. I don't know if he got any communication from Robertson, but he absolutely switches off because he runs in between between him and Robertson, but he runs in behind Gomez. I think he's looked across at Robertson and kind of said, shout me, but see, the movement was that good. Robertson didn't get a chance to let him know anything because it was just too quick a movement, and he should have scored.
Well, City have had their chances now. Having gone behind early, they equalised, they've missed a penalty, they've missed a sitter. Haven't played particularly well. It's not been the most coherent performance from Pep Guardiola's team. But they've had the better of the chances now, no doubt. Liverpool looking to retake the lead here with Sadio Mane. Pokes it towards Robertson, back towards Roberto Firmino, who takes a drive at goal, but it's not a great hit from Roberto Firmino, and it goes over the top.
Yeah, he's another player hasn't really been in the game. Firmino hasn't had a lot of touches of the ball, as he normally does have a lot of touches of the ball, because a lot of their forward play builds up off of him. I don't know if because Jota's there as well, if that's the difference, but I think we're going to see a change.
Yeah, Roberto Firmino, just one goal in his last 12 appearances in all competitions, 8 in the Premier League. That was against Sheffield United in October. 2 goals in 22 since January. It's been a big discussion point this week as Jesus here at the other end tries to create a chance on the edge. Back to Kevin De Bruyne, who takes a drive at goal, and much like his strike from the penalty spot, it's off target.
Yeah, you just wonder if that was a little bit too far out to beat Alisson, but when De Bruyne gets on the ball, you're never really going to question what he's going to do next. Just accept that there's an opportunity and he's going to take it. But he was far off with that one in the end. I think that takes a slight deflection off of Gomez, doesn't it? He looked like them. We see the replay.
Well, no corner has been given. Goal kick already taken. Alisson passes short, receives it back, then chips it to Robertson in space on the left-hand side. 57 minutes gone here on Premier League Live. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1. Joe Gomez midway inside his own half, ball at feet. Wants a pass, finds Wijnaldum. Pressure from Rodrigo. We're just hearing Xherdan Shaqiri is set to come on for Liverpool. That was the change you were intimating a moment ago, as a big diagonal here from Liverpool is intercepted by Kyle Walker. Ederson came a long way out. Walker got the touch. Mane was sniffing. And in fact, Walker has run round his own goalkeeper towards his own goal before clearing. Here's Roberto Firmino, looks to slip in Mo Salah, intercepted once, then twice by Ruben Diaz. Gundogan's pass is poor, straight to Sadio Mane. Rodrigo runs into him, and Sadio Mane, you guessed it, hits the deck.
Yeah, I mean, again, Ederson would drive me absolute mad. You've got someone as quick as Kyle Walker. If you're going to give a player a chance to get back and make a recovery run, it's Kyle Walker.
Yeah.
You don't go and gamble. You wait and see the outcome and then deal with it from there. And if Kyle Walker has a bigger touch, given out his pitch and the ball moves that quick, that could have been an own goal there.
The change is now coming. Shaqiri is coming on, and perhaps no surprise, Paul, that it is the ineffective Roberto Firmino who's being withdrawn.
Yeah, he's struggled. I don't think that system suits him. There's too many players in and around him, too much going on. It just didn't suit him. He has not been in the game.
Shaqiri is then on. Man who played for... We'll come back to that as Jota takes a shot, and that's blocked by the arm of Cancelo, and there'll be question marks about that after the penalty given in the first half. Cross returned in the penalty area towards Alexander-Arnold. City get the ball away. Rodrigo tries to clear, and now everybody will surround the referee and ask why that is not a penalty, whereas Joe Gomez was given a penalty against in that first half. We're getting the replay now, and it's very, very close to him. It is a blast at him.
No, it's a blast at him. His arm is tucked into his body. He wasn't up above his shoulder or out away from his body. That's not a penalty.
Well, it hasn't been given. It's not being reviewed, and common sense this time has prevailed. Here's Wijnaldum running in the centre circle. Alexander-Arnold with a spinning ball in behind Kyle Walker to Sadio Mane. 60 minutes gone now, it's 1-1. Into Mo Salah in the penalty area, up against Ruben Diaz. Diaz has nicked the ball off him. Well, he still took a little dive there, didn't he, Mo Salah? But
can't believe what he tried to do there.
No chance that time. Liverpool regained possession though on the halfway line. Do you think that was a dive to try and get a penalty, Paul?
It was. He kept rolling, didn't he, on the floor when the ball was cleanly nicked, taken off his foot. He's rolled on the floor.
Poor ball that time from Matip, straight to Raheem Sterling on the halfway line. Wijnaldum looks to hold him up, and he's done superbly well. Wijnaldum. Referee, though, has stopped the play.
Yellow card to Sterling.
For running into Matip after Wijnaldum had taken the ball off him. Is that right? Yes, it is. It's a yellow card.
Frustration on his part, because he's been poor, Sterling. His poor decision that was for him to run with the ball when he decided to run with it.
Well, he also kind of pulled the arm, didn't he, of Wijnaldum as well. So maybe a couple of fouls there. Change for Man City is forthcoming now. Ferran Torres set to be withdrawn. Bernardo Silva, who's not been in the best of form for Manchester City, certainly played well for Portugal in the last international break. He comes on. Ferran Torres, a bit like Firmino, really. Not really much to talk about for us.
Nothing at all, really. Been very, very poor. His European form hasn't been the same what's gone on in the Premier League.
Another issue here before we can get back underway, as Trent Alexander-Arnold has dropped to the ground off the ball. He seems to have some sort of issue, and not too sure Alexander-Arnold's going to be able to continue here. It's obviously an issue that is muscular and seemingly unexpected as well. Nothing I've really seen there that would have seen him go down. It's the right leg the physio is having a look at here, Paul.
Yeah, and when they happen like that, then you know it's quite bad, to be perfectly honest. If a player goes and does what he does, yeah, he just slightly pulls something as he's making a recovery run.
Well, the debate has been, Paul, hasn't it, in the last couple of weeks or so. The Premier League decided not to continue with the 5 substitutes being available we had during Project Restart. They are still keeping them in European football. The top managers, they wanted to keep it. It was voted down in a Premier League vote. This week David Moyes said he regretted his club's decision to vote against it. He recommended that they didn't keep the 5 substitutions. Lampard has spoken about it, Klopp has spoken about it, Guardiola has spoken about it, Solskjaer has spoken about it. Do you think it was wise to go back to 3 substitutes, considering the just nature of football right now, where there seems to be a game every 25 minutes?
They've got big squads, Tom. Use them. Use it. Use your squads rather than get extra people on the bench. I think the extra players on the bench, it's about just trying to keep players happy. Look, I've named you in the squad, you're on the bench, and I think a lot of managers are looking at that to try and believe they're keeping players happy. I think you've got big enough squads, you get on and use them. That's what it's about. Gives them opportunities.
Well, it's a second change here for Liverpool, this one enforced. Trent Alexander-Arnold is off, and it's a return to Manchester City for James Milner, who makes his 750th career appearance. His first appearance was in Leeds' 4-3 victory over West Ham United on November 10th, 2002. A man who won trophies here and indeed has continued to do so at Liverpool. Incredible longevity, nearly 20 years at the top for James Milner, and he will slot into that right back role, somewhere he has played many, many times for both of these clubs. 63 minutes gone, we're back underway. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1 here on Premier League Live. Tom Rennie and Paul Parker with you. And don't forget, another game for you later. We are not done yet before the international break. The great Tim Long, alongside the former Man City defender Kit Simons, will bring you Arsenal against Aston Villa. Already today, Tottenham victorious against West Bromwich Albion. Leicester beating Wolverhampton Wanderers. Here, a free kick given to Liverpool, about 15 yards over the halfway. Right of centre. James Milner has a chance to have an early impact after coming on. Robertson has trotted over there too, maybe a touch more likely to take this. Matip's gone forward. It's Milner towards the back post. Jota has gone down. Paul, it's every time they get in the penalty area, isn't it? Every time.
It does get a bit embarrassing or tedious, one of the two.
Walker up to the halfway, challenged by Mane, and he's given us a free kick, tripped by Mane on Walker as he slid in. I don't think Jota thought he was going to get a penalty, but it just seems almost instinctive to try and see if they can get something when they aren't going to get on the end of it.
Yeah, but to be fair, I've seen defenders do it as well. Defenders are throwing themselves down looking to get a foul. If they believe they've lost a man or something like that, they throw themselves to the floor looking for something as well. So it works on both sides.
When you've got players this good at football, it is somewhat dispiriting. That's the kind of thing they'll resort to, as James Milner has more defensive work to do here. Cancelo found over the top, down the left channel. Milner got there first, poked it into touch. Cancelo's throw into Jesus, controls on the chest, forced away from goal by his control. Shaqiri puts a challenge in. I was going to say earlier on, of course, played for Pep Guardiola during his time at Bayern Munich. Now, under Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, he was seemingly getting bombed out of the club, wasn't he, during the summer? Barely featured for a long, long time. Xherdan Shaqiri, no takers, and has found his way back into the first team this season, the first team picture at least. First appearance this season was the game against West Ham last week, when he slipped the ball through for Jota's late winner. 65 minutes gone here. At TalkSport Live, by the way, the place to get in touch on Twitter. I can see many of you have, and next break in play we will run through as many of your comments as we can get to. Keep them coming in to at TalkSport Live. How do you see this game going? We're getting plenty of people getting in touch with us about the penalty. Someone says it was worthy of Greg Louganis. It was so bad. That's an 80s reference for you there. Tom Daly, I suppose, we'd use over here for a diver, wouldn't we, as opposed to that? Anyway, how many famous divers can you name? Game match just got a bit scratchy the last few minutes or so. It certainly hasn't been the intensity and quality of the first 45 minutes. Is this a good point for Liverpool to come here and not lose if that ends up being the case?
I would say so, yeah. For City it'd be disappointing. They desperately need a win. A win against Liverpool would make a difference for them as well, I think, confidence-wise. But saying that, the way this league's going, we really don't know exactly what is confidence and what is disappointment. So up and down.
City could go 5 Premier League matches without scoring more than 1 goal for the first time in 11 years. They have won here today. Kevin De Bruyne has missed a penalty at the end of the first half, and really second half not created too much. Here they are now trying to do just that. Over the top towards Raheem Sterling, intercepted by James Milner, and then there's a push by Cancelo on Milner, and that's a free kick to Liverpool in the right back area. What are the changes in aid of Paul? Why would Shaqiri have been brought on for Firmino? What does that do for Liverpool?
I think they get someone who's naturally is going to want to play wide, who can do the unexpected as Shaqiri can. He's never been a regular player inside. He's been one of those players who's been in fits and starts. Consistency has always been a big problem, and as well he's quite a moody character as well, but he's definitely got talent.
On the other side, Bernardo Silva for Ferran Torres. He's not had a great season, Bernardo Silva, has he really?
No. City just have, suddenly realised how important David Silva was for them as well. He's doing great for Real Sociedad. He's doing unbelievably well for them as well.
Yeah, they were top of the table, weren't they, before this weekend? I haven't caught up with the La Liga results as yet, but really fantastic start to his return to Spain. David Silva, legend round here, of course, as Joe Gomez has the ball for Liverpool midway inside their own half. Right-footed over the top towards Mo Salah. Goal sign of Cancelo. Salah will keep this in by the corner flag. Challenged by Cancelo. Ball goes into touch for a throw-in on the right-hand side.
I think that's great defending by Cancelo. As that ball's going there, he hasn't rushed straight in. He's allowed him to get on the ball rather than get too close and outdo himself. And then the moment Salah gets that touch and then looking to try and to be able to engage him and pin him down, bang, he makes a tackle. Otherwise, you could have been talking about an opportunity to get another penalty.
Here's Salah with the cross in, cleared away by Ruben Dias, recovered by Henderson, onto Robertson, trying to find Salah, away by Kevin De Bruyne. Jesus controls and hooks away. Robertson forward into Jota. He'll control and turn, looks left for Robertson, left-footed cross, away by Ruben Dias, loops and spins up in the air. Wijnaldum heads it left. Robertson controls, back to Wijnaldum. Jordan Henderson back in the centre circle, and Joel Matip. Joe Gomez behind him. Not a good ball from Joe Gomez. Silva probably could have let that one go. In the end, he didn't get a shout, as you say, and flicks it off for a throw into Liverpool in an advanced area. Well, the game's almost at a walking pace now, Paul.
It is, and Liverpool are just in control of the ball. They're quite happy. They'll just see if they can push and pull City about and find an opening, see if they can get Mane or Salah in a one-against-one situation.
But they won't do it with balls like that into touch. Matip looking out right, and he doesn't find anybody. It was behind Shaqiri, it was nowhere near Milner. And with 20 minutes remaining, the game is just sort of petering here, which is not something we expected after the first 45 minutes. Throw into Sterling from Cancelo, back to him, hits the arm of James Milner. Referee says just throw in. You can hear what Cancelo thinks about it. Well, affects microphones, which pick up a lot more than they used to since fans have been taken out of Premier League football. Feels like a long time now since I watched the game with supporters in the stands. Here's Kyle Walker, lovely turn of pace, driving down the right channel, away from Jota. Challenged though by Robertson, and the Scotland captain can bring Liverpool away. Forward towards Shaqiri, first time forward to Mane, out to the right hand side, and James Milner in some space. Over the halfway line come Liverpool. Sterling trying to hold him up. Milner into the final third, then he looks square to Shaqiri, poke towards Salah, back to Salah again after Shaqiri's first pass was intercepted. De Bruyne away, back to Henderson, first time cross, Kyle Walker heads clear. Will be going for a corner if Kyle Walker can stop it here, he can. Blasted up towards the halfway line. Gomez forward into touch, and it's just mistake after mistake at the moment from both teams, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's not.
I don't recognise the game from the first half, to be honest.
No, it has lost its way. It's become a game now where both sides are scared to lose, so there's a lot more mistakes. Gomez there.
Do you think that's what it is? They're both scared to lose?
I think so. I would say they're both are. I mean, Liverpool, is important for them. They want to be the top of the tree, so they're desperate for 3 points, but they don't want to get beat by Manchester City. They got beat in the last fixture here. Not good for them. Always got the excuse that they're a little bit worse aware, but to lose twice on the bounce at City wouldn't be good for them.
Yeah, City have won the last 3 home league games against Liverpool, an aggregate score of 11-1. Here's Shaqiri in the centre circle, challenged by Jesus, just pokes it back to Gomez. Good pressure on the Liverpool defence there, and Alisson will just have to knock it into touch over on the far side.
He's done well with Alisson in the end. He wasn't getting overplayed as for I'm just finding the safest place to touch. That's what he done.
Here's Rodrigo in the centre circle for Manchester City. Right to left goes the pass into Laporte, onto Cancelo, down the line to Raheem Sterling. 73 minutes gone. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1. 1-2 between Cancelo and De Bruyne. Cancelo's in the area. Milner makes the tackle. Luckily he won all of the ball. Back to Kevin De Bruyne. Shot blocked by Wijnaldum. Recovered by Cancelo. Lob towards Sterling. Tough to deal with there for Raheem Sterling, and James Milner slammed the door on him. After Shaqiri, onto Jordan Henderson, back to Joel Matip, edge of his own area. And Liverpool look to break the City press. Mane's chest to Wijnaldum, well won by Ruben Diaz, who's poked it to Sterling in the area, left-hand side, Raheem Sterling. Caught under his feet a bit, tried to cross, blocked by Milner, back to Sterling. Another cross comes in, Gundogan gets away from Gomez, not away from Robertson, and Mane can clear. But City retake it, better from Pep Guardiola's side. Cancelo with a cross-field pass to Bernardo Silva, running at Robertson, edging his way forward, back to Kyle Walker, held up by Jota. Return to Rodrigo, into Laporte, lip of the centre circle in Liverpool territory. Gundogan now, 40 yards from goal, centre of the pitch, fires a pass left to Kevin De Bruyne, whose left-footed cross was sliced over the end line into touch. Better though for Manchester City.
It was better, and again it ends up with Sterling. If he had any belief on his left side, he could have straight away have just driven towards that near post and put James Milner under so much pressure there, but he didn't. He wasn't confident, and he allowed Milner then to block that path. If he'd gone there early, and whatever he'd done on that left side, Milner would have had to step across, and he could have won a penalty or the opportunity to have a shot at that near post.
Is there much desire to pick up 3 points from these two teams? A point for Liverpool would not be enough to see them go back top of the Premier League table after the victory for Leicester, who lead earlier today. They go level on points with Tottenham, joint second, and above Southampton, who currently sit third following their fantastic start to the season. It is early days, but it does have an anybody's ball game feel to it, the Premier League this season, and that's what we like to see. 15 minutes remaining of this match. Very much a game of two halves in the quite literal sense, of course, but also cliched sense too.
think we have to say City, if they'd have had their centre-halves of old, they would have lost this game. The game would have been over. I think the two centre-halves have done really well for City. They've kept in there. They've kept Liverpool at bay, really. You have to say Ederson hasn't had a lot to do. If anything, that has caused the problems. He's caused the problem with his decision-making and coming outside his box.
Balls with Jordan Henderson in the right-back area. Just in front of their own penalty area here, Liverpool. Have they got a late surprise on the break for Manchester City? They have lost Trent Alexander-Arnold to injury, so you feel it'll probably come from the Robertson side. They have been dispossessed on their left, City's right, and Guardiola's team can come forward. Jesus looks left to Cancelo, midway inside the Liverpool half. Shaqiri for company, short to Gundogan, back to Laporte. He looks into the centre circle and finds Ruben Diaz. On to Kyle Walker, down the sideline to Bernardo Silva, running at Robertson and Wijnaldum, pokes it towards De Bruyne, off the shin of Jorginho Wijnaldum, and that's a corner for Manchester City over on that right hand side.
Bernardo Silva's coming in. He's done more than Torres already, just for the fact of his they're dragging two players out to him now. They're concerned about Bernardo Silva getting on the ball, so that takes away an extra person from that defence of Liverpool, so that tells you the threat of Bernardo Silva.
First corner of the match for Manchester City, to be taken by Kevin De Bruyne, who missed the penalty earlier on. Score is 1-1. Cross comes in, hits Matip, breaks towards Alisson. Claiming pass back, I think, the Manchester City players, but no way that was intentional.
Very rare you see that as well now.
I don't think I've seen a pass back to a goalkeeper given for an indirect free kick for 10 years. Honestly, I can't tell you.
It's been a while. It's like it's going to disappear like maybe obstruction.
And giving bookings for dives. Here's Gundogan on the halfway line. Beautiful spread up in the air and a lovely first touch by Silva on the far side. Up against Robertson in the area. Low cross. Sterling controls. 4 Reds players around him. Still going, Sterling. And he tried to poke back to Gundogan. Didn't find the target. In towards Mo Salah, who's dragged down by Laporte. Laporte says Salah was backing into him. Free kick has gone Liverpool's way. Couldn't take it quickly. And there's a yellow card there for a Manchester City player, I think, for stopping the free kick as opposed to the foul. I'll get confirmation on who it was.
And I'll tell you what, he's right, by the way. Laporte, Salah's just walking backwards. He has walked backwards into him. He couldn't get out of his way. He was trying to get around him. Referee could have let that go as 50-50.
Laporte, the man yellow carded for both the challenge and preventing the free kick. So a double whammy there for Laporte. He joins Raheem Sterling and Joel Matip in the referee's notebook.
And we're just seeing Sterling in the box there, and that just about sums his game up. First touch being poor, decision making being poor. He's just been caught up and he has not been in this game at all, Sterling.
Well, he was discussing Raheem Sterling this week, Pep Guardiola, suggesting that maybe in other circumstances he might well have given him a bit of a rest to recuperate and recover his form, but unable to do so, and not something he's done very much, to be fair, Pep Guardiola. 207 appearances going into today, 208 now under Guardiola. Only Dani Alves, Xavi and Lionel Messi have broken the 200 games barrier for Pep Guardiola, so he's certainly a favourite and a vital cog in the Manchester City machine, but form hasn't been good in the Premier League in recent times. Here's Xherdan Shaqiri going from forgotten man to on the field for Liverpool, but he's bundled into Raheem Sterling, overrun the ball and given a free kick away. What do you make to Shaqiri coming back in from the wilderness into this team?
I just think they were looking to get him out. No one's really, the deal was maybe to get him out weren't what they were looking for, and I think in certain ways there's a way you can use him, but I just think it's just one of those players that if it isn't going his way, it's one that you don't really want him around, because he just comes across as a player that doesn't take not playing very well, when in theory he has never really been a consistent player in any side he's been to.
10 minutes remaining here. City on the ball. Kevin De Bruyne found round the corner, edge of the area, cross comes in, blocked by Gomez, shouts of handball. That was a poor challenge there from Bernardo Silva sliding in. Luckily he missed absolutely everybody, and Robertson can bring the ball away. Poked it out right to James Milner on the right-hand side. On for Trent Alexander-Arnold. James Milner. Into Jordan Henderson. Back to Milner again. Premier League veteran into Shaqiri, who's tucked around the corner, was weak. Intercepted by Gundogan. Matip robs Jesus, but it breaks back to Gundogan in the centre circle in his own half. All the way back to Ederson in his own penalty area.
Jesus has really looked really sharp, by the way. He's just knocked that ball back to Gundogan and he's gone. But Gundogan, because the ball's come back to him that quick, he couldn't go with it first time because he was on as well. Every time he's got on the ball, he's looked really sharp. The goal he scored, that really sums up how his game has been for City today.
Paul, do you think we're seeing the after effects of the calendar and the fact they were both playing in the Champions League in midweek here? Is that why there is a legginess about this, isn't there?
I think it's just the way I just think it's more about the way the game is, what it means to both sides. They don't, like I said earlier, don't want to lose, and there's always going to be legginess. But I'll tell you what, when one of them go and score, it'd be amazing how the other team will suddenly gain an extra gear and go for it. That's the difference.
Yeah, we saw that, didn't we, last night with Fulham? They seemed indifferent for 92 minutes, conceded, and then were amazing for a couple, and maybe should have got something from that game. Here, Sadio Mane's turned away from Kyle Walker, and he's tried to backheel it into Salah's path, and Cancelo's gone to ground in the area. He's just got there before Salah. Got a bit lucky as well. He didn't know where that ball had gone. Salah was sniffing all about him, and the City man just got it away.
He's done well in the end, Cancelo. We have to say that. He's gone to ground, which is always dangerous.
Here is the other end. Looks to slip in Raheem Sterling. Gets the ball behind Milner, but never really in the path of Raheem Sterling. Was running right to left as the ball was going the other way. Yeah, Matip stepped across.
Yeah, it was a difficult ball that Cancelo's tried to do. He did get it wrong.
Long ball down the right channel towards Salah for Liverpool. Ederson comes out and shields the ball. Shepherds it into touch. And that's a goal kick to Manchester City. 83 minutes on the clock here. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1 on Premier League Live. A reminder, Mo Salah scoring the opening goal in the 12th minute. Sadio Mane went down for a penalty and got it. Salah converted. Gabriel Jesus levelled things up on 32 minutes. Then Kevin De Bruyne missed a penalty just before half-time after a rather dubious handball was given against Joe Gomez. Over the top here to Cancelo from City. Off the slick surface, it spins into the arms of the Liverpool goalkeeper, who then kicks the ball straight into touch, trying to find Shaqiri on the halfway line.
To be honest, that was a wonderful ball by Alisson out to him. I don't know, Shaqiri seemed like he ducked.
No, he's just that short, mate.
See, I don't like going down that line.
No, it's just a fact, though, isn't it? He's obviously 5'8", 5'9", he's a short man.
That's tall for me.
Yeah, he's Paul Bunker height, you know. But you still get to shop in Young Boys, don't you? So that's saved you a fortune over the years. You've got to give it that. Challenged by De Bruyne on Milner here. Right hand side from a Liverpool perspective, midway inside their own half. Motivation here, Paul, as you've discussed, very interesting here. Which of these two teams wants to win it? Because it does still feel like the game is there to be won.
Oh, it's definitely there to be won, but it's about the team who can actually do enough to go and win it. I just think there's always a chance with City, given they could make a mistake in that back line. They really could. There's something that just might just go against them, while Liverpool do look quite assured in their back line. They're not as forthright in going forward as they were in that first 25 minutes, in that first half.
Manchester City preparing a second change. We're hearing that Phil Foden is getting stripped off and ready to come on for his third consecutive Premier League substitute appearance. Not a great deal of time to have an impact on this game, as Alisson in his own area finds a pass left to Gomez, left to right, Gomez to Matip.
Just to remind you, Tom, he doesn't need a lot of time, because I saw him come on a sub at West Ham.
Yeah, it was like a minute, wasn't it? Minute and a half, and he scored.
Yep.
He really enlivened the City performance that day at London Stadium, where it was drifting away from them, wasn't it, at a half-time. Here is Robertson, the captain of Scotland, the Liverpool left-back. You'll find Matip across the halfway line and James Milner. Matip looks left to Gomez. City pressing, but not hunting in packs right now, you'd say. Milner into Salah, who's come really deep to get the ball. Wijnaldum finds Diogo Jota. Like all Liverpool attackers, quiet in the second half, but it only takes a moment as Mane looks down the line. Mane has been given offside here over on the far side as he looked to slip the ball back towards Jota on the run, and that was really the first attack Liverpool have built for a good 25 minutes, and it came to nothing.
Yeah, they've kept them really quiet. It's quite ironic, really, that they take off Firmino, and they seem to have lost their way, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Jota's gone out of the game, hasn't he? Totally drifted out of the game.
Well, as Jurgen Klopp was saying this week, if you don't understand what Roberto Firmino does for Liverpool at this point, then he can't explain it to you. And maybe we're seeing a representation of that right now. Certainly has been a big topic this week, how to make this four play together. Looked so sharp, didn't they? The opening 25-30 minutes here, the Liverpool fantastic front four. And now it's 2 or 3 with Firmino off, Shaqiri on. I'm not too sure they've had a shot at goal since that happened. The last shot at goal I recall was Firmino's. From Liverpool anyway.
We haven't seen Liverpool going behind either. What they were doing a lot in the first half. They seem to have lost that. Jota was definitely getting in behind when they was attacking.
Here's Gabriel Jesus, won the ball back for City in Liverpool territory. 87 minutes gone here. 1-1. Here's Bernardo Silva running towards the penalty area. Back to Jesus. Crossfield to Cancelo. Out of his body, Cancelo. On to Raheem Sterling, running at Milner, just outside the area. Right-footed cross is good. It's away by Gomez. Wijnaldum further away, only as far as Rodrigo. Turns it forward, cleared away by Gomez again. Salah and Gundogan battling for the ball. It's won by Laporte in the end. Lobs it high in the air towards the far side where Robertson and Bernardo Silva battle for it. Robertson does win it. And then he jumps on the ground wanting a free kick, and it's one of those ones defenders always get, isn't it? There was no challenge there from Bernardo Silva at all.
No, he knew he was going nowhere. He's virtually under pressure running towards the touchline. He just kept his feet away from him. Yep, and there we are. I think we found the answer to which way that's gone.
Yes, apologies if you did hear any untoward language there from our effects mics. There's not a great deal we can do about that at the moment with, of course, the 50-odd thousand fans that should be here, not in attendance, so apologise if you are offended. And even if you're not, our apologies. Alisson will blast this one upfield. Knocked back towards Mane from Jota. Mane running down a bit of a blind alley. Jumps to ground wanting a free kick. This time Craig Pawson doesn't give it. It's going to be a throw in to Manchester City midway inside their own half with a minute of play remaining. Don't forget, we aren't done here on Premier League Live today. We're still running with 10 unique time slots in the Premier League whilst we wait for the return of fans, and Tim Long and Kit Simons are with you next for Arsenal against Aston Villa. It's a game that kicks off in just under an hour from now. Coverage of that match will start in about 25 minutes or so. We're going to get team news from Tim in detail post full time here, and we'll have a look back at the rest of the day's action as well. Stories all around the Premier League today and yesterday, and we've had at the moment 3 different league leaders, but Liverpool won't be making it 4 with the score as it is unless they can make something happen here with Sadio Mane midway inside City territory. Walker for company, goes to ground wanting a free kick, and in fact a free kick has gone Kyle Walker's way, and I'm not sure it was a free kick either way.
No, I don't know where that's come from.
Just players running near each other, it happens. Here it is at the other end. Gabriel Jesus holds it up, back to Raheem Sterling, finds a pass back to Bernardo Silva. Players looking tired now as we enter 90 minutes. Over on the right hand side, Bernardo Silva has looked lively since coming on. 4 minutes added on at the end of the 90. And here's Kyle Walker on the halfway line for City. Goal now would be the killer blow. Bernardo Silva back towards Kyle Walker. Into the centre circle they go, Manchester City. Rodrigo's pass was loose. Jota looks to steal. Walker goes to ground to recover it. He's done really well there, Kyle Walker. It was a bad ball, and the sliding tackle was actually a good pass into Bernardo Silva, into Rodrigo, back to Bernardo Silva. Jesus, Silva again. Rodrigo, just behind him, looks infield to Laporte. In Vincent Kompany range there, if he fancies a shot, doesn't. Back to Cancelo, into Gundogan. Gundogan's clip into Jesus, brilliantly read by Alisson. That's great goalkeeping there if your defence are nervy. Comes out, reads it at speed, catches it and alleviates all pressure.
That's exactly right, and if there's a shout at keeper as well, it's amazing how it's just like a parting of the waves, because players are fearful when the goalkeeper shouts keepers, you run for cover.
Such a fantastic goalkeeper, Alisson, makes such a big difference when he is playing. Of course, it was Adrian in goal in their loss against Aston Villa, though I was doing that game, I'm not too sure that Alisson would have saved too many of them. Villa were just phenomenal on the day. Can't say that about 2 teams today, though. A brilliant first half has petered into a rather indifferent second. Would be a good point for Liverpool, who you feel aren't going to lose too many games this season. They aren't going to lose at too many grounds. This is probably the number one place you'd expect them to struggle, as Ederson blasts one long here. Alisson's come a long way from goal, heads it out left to Cancelo, and City can capitalise here if Sterling can find De Bruyne, or he can't. Henderson intercepts, knocks it back to Alisson, who now blasts it long. Just as we praise him for being a calming figure, Alisson, he's gone walkabout there and nearly cost his team.
He did, and it was unnecessary as well what he done, and De Bruyne I should say, was trying to do something about it, but he's tried to play a 1-2 with Sterling. Sterling should never try to give it back to him. He ends up almost giving he gave the ball away, he killed it. He should have kept possession of the ball.
90 seconds of time remaining. Jota has robbed Gundogan. Referee says foul against Jota, who complains bitterly about it. Someone say it's a bit rich for Liverpool to complain about someone diving against them. Oh, that's a poor challenge from Kyle Walker. He's gone through Wijnaldum, who got there first. Frustration there from Kyle Walker. Maybe some of the histrionics at some of the Liverpool players today as well, so you can maybe understand it. But that's not an acceptable challenge, and Kyle Walker becomes the third Manchester City player in the book today, and it's just a swipe on the shins of Wijnaldum. That's really not a good tackle at all.
That wasn't. It could have been a lot worse. They're the ones that normally you find that players have got problems with ligaments when he done those kind of challenges, but lucky enough feet were off the floor, so it's more just a kick on the shin pad. That's all it was.
That's why shin pads are so important. I know a lot of people listening maybe like to play without them. I never play without them. Even in like park football, I wouldn't play without them, because that could have been a snapper of bone, that challenge, without them. Whoops. Chance here for Liverpool maybe later on, as Salah picks it up with his back to goal, and he goes to ground. It's a good tackle from Ruben Diaz, but
he got the ball, it's ball in front of him.
But again, any contact between defender and attacker, and Mo Salah will go to ground. Any contact, and the referee's given it. I just don't see it.
I don't know how he saw it like that as well. He's obviously not played a game of football in his life, and if he tells me he has, I'll still call him a liar.
Free kick, last chance of this match. Salah's taken a tumble and Liverpool have a chance. Free kick is around 30 yards, left of centre, about in line with the right post of Ederson. Perhaps a bit too far out for a shot. Alexander-Arnold has gone off injured, so it looks more like they're lining up for a cross here. Well, it's further than that, actually. A good 35 yards. Shaqiri's ball, no one's at the back post. And it's the full-time whistle, and the game comes to an end with the score at 1-1. Jurgen Klopp screaming at someone at full time. Guardiola went over to shake his hand, and Klopp was too busy screaming at maybe his players, maybe City's players, maybe the referee, who knows. A burst of frustration at full time, and he's right to be, because the game in the first half had everything: drama, excitement, goals, controversy, good decisions, bad decisions. The second half, the polar opposite. A figurative and literal game of two halves comes to an end with a 1-1 scoreline. Salah and Jesus with the goals in the first half. How pivotal could Kevin De Bruyne's missed penalty be in the context of the season? Analysis to follow this break. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Evening Evenings with James Whale on Talk Radio. Keep connected with round-the-clock news, essential information and expert insight.
I think we've got to be very careful about the way this has all been going on.
Cutting through the confusion with everything you need to stay safe, informed and entertained.
Everyone's going on about, we should be tracking and testing, and I just don't know how that is going to happen.
Evenings with James Whale. Weeknights from 7 on Talk Radio.
In a world of 24/7 global sportscasting and instant news infotainment, one man bestrides the airwaves like a snow-capped Caledonian colossus.
Hello, I'm Jim White.
Jim White, anchorman.
Mid-morning news team, assemble.
Jim White and Natalie Sawyer, the #1 rated news source for breaking sports stories, big-name guests, and liquid showbiz charisma.
Great Odin's Raven. That's quite a transfer.
There's nothing burgundy about Jim White. Tomorrow morning from 10 on TalkSport.
In the spring of the year 2020 AD, a deadly enemy rages like a torrent of fire between the ends of empire.
My name is Maximus Talksportus Pandemicus, gladiator of the sports radio. Gird up your loins and battle the invasion of COVID-19, because what you do today will echo in eternity.
TalkSport Legion, assume tortoise formation against COVID-19.
Show this virus no mercy by keeping a distance of at least 2 meters at all times. That's 6.75 Roman feet centurions. Together, Legion, TalkSportus can defeat it.
TalkSportus Maximus.
On my signal, unleash hand sanitizer.
Keep it on, stay informed, and give coronavirus the red cardus.
Are you not hand sanitized?
20 years of TalkSport.
Gentlemen, good evening.
There's no such thing as an overnight success.
Accrington Stanley 4, titanium plasmatronic death droids from the future, 0.
Excess.
I wasn't getting up, I was just getting in.
Excitement.
Excuse me,
and extremely strong opinions.
I spend my life covering the big game at the big level.
On DAB, medium wave, and on your smart speaker. 20 years of TalkSport.
For all the latest news, opinions and advice, listen to Talk Radio throughout the day and stay informed as events unfold.
We're now in a position to start implementing the next part of our plan.
Find out what's happening now and what may happen next, all day, every day.
If the government gets to grips with the plan, then surely we will be able to see light at the end of the tunnel.
Listen now on DAB Digital Radio, online, via the Talk Radio app, or ask your smart speaker to play Talk Radio.
You're with Premier League Live. The third game of 4 feature matches on your Premier League Sunday is over. Manchester City against Liverpool, all square at full time. Most recent Premier League champions and runners-up, and of course they were reversed the previous season. Paul Parker watched the game with me. Paul, first half scintillating. Goals at both ends, drama, controversy. The second half, has it started yet?
Well, maybe we could go again. If they started now, it might be better than what we just saw. It died a death. I just think they were just really scared about losing. Both didn't want to lose. I mean, we can talk about fitness, we can talk about Europe, but I think it was just two sides who were content to stay as they were rather than it go against them by pushing on too much.
Well, let's talk about the goals. Mo Salah in the 12th minute, opening the scoring from the penalty spot. We've had our say on the penalty. Looks like two players running next to each other. One jumps to ground and that's a penalty. Now, it seems to be accepted that this is a penalty, but surely running near someone is not an infringement. How do we stop that being a penalty? And is it even possible now to turn things around from this point?
I think we just have to start giving people yellow cards. And referees are going to have to accept that whatever happens, not everyone's going to go their way. People are always going to say, we don't think so, and want to call him out. But at the end of the day, he's got to stick by it, and he's got to live by it when he makes the decisions. But you can't keep allowing people to keep cheating people. Let's call it, let's go straight for it. It's a form of cheating, and they're using a situation to gain a massive advantage. And some will say, oh, they should be able to allowed to do that. But I don't think so, because I want defenders to be given the opportunity to try and win the ball in the best way possible, but do it doing it the right way, and when they get themselves in good positions, and because someone's been brushed, or when someone comes out and say, but there was contact, that's never been an excuse to give any foul or any penalty.
We shouldn't have to caveat it, though, when we say it's cheating. It is cheating, but it's accepted cheating, like an open marriage, isn't it? That's what it is. That's what it's all become in football now. We just accept it as fact. Yeah, he cheated to win a penalty, and we say, oh no, there's contact there, he's rubbed next to him, he's given him the opportunity to go down. No, he's just allowed you to go to bed with your friend's wife. That's what's happened here. It's not acceptable, but anyway. What about Gabriel Jesus? I thought it was a fantastic goal from him.
It was a really good goal. One of them ones I would need to see it again to find a reason how he shouldn't have been allowed to do what he'd done. But he's just earned the right to do that. He stepped in front, and Trent Alexander-Arnold couldn't deal with it. He didn't know where the ball was, didn't really know where the man was. Positionally, he was in a poor position. But then the moment he did see the ball, as I've said on numerous occasions, it was too late. But he might turn around and say he should have been maybe better protected by Matip. But at the end of the day, he was there. He saw where Jesus was. He should have done better than what he's done with his positional sense.
Kevin De Bruyne missing a penalty late on in that first half, given us handball. Let's not have a handball debate. I haven't got the energy for that on the top of the diving debate today. But Kevin De Bruyne missing a penalty, and this is where your language is so important, isn't it? We say people miss penalties, but last night Ademola Lookman didn't miss a penalty. It was saved. Today, Kevin De Bruyne became the first penalty taker in the Premier League to completely miss the target, not even hit the frame of the goal, since Riyad Mahrez back in 2018.
Yeah, something that you would never thought would happen with him, but I think it said a lot about his game today. He was off today. He wasn't the same player today. We saw that one bit from him when he made that goal, and then he had a shot straight after inside that 30 seconds. And that was it, really. It wasn't nowhere near his best. I don't know about that pitch they played on there. It seemed really, really firm. And it just didn't fit. Players just didn't seem comfortable in their movement when they were slowing down, when they were controlling. They were hesitant. They were worried about their feet. They just seemed on edge. It didn't seem right, that pitch. And it didn't help Manchester City at all, when normally you always try and give yourself some advantages as a home team. That pitch wasn't an advantage to City.
Yeah, second half, nothing really to analyse, truth be told. So 1-1 it has finished. Paul, we go into international break with Manchester City after 7 games, one less than most other teams in the league, sitting top of the bottom half. 7 played, 3 wins, 3 draws. Recent form, draw, win, draw, win, draw. Look, it's very early in the season and they've got 12 points. It's 6 off top. It's not been a disaster by any stretch of the imagination, but not been great either, has it?
No, it hasn't been great. They're very, very fortunate that we're in the Ghost League at the moment, so there's always a very good chance that they can put a run together and get themselves back up where they believe they should be. We just don't know how things are going to pan up. I mean, you look at how they are, City, you look at Manchester United, you look at their league position, you see teams, you're seeing what Aston Villa have done, you're seeing Leicester at the top, you're seeing Southampton up the top. You just think yourself, this is going to be like a season of juggling, really. You don't know really what's going to be happening there. We're a long way, I think, at the moment from talking about who's going to be in Europe next season, which makes a change really for this time of year in the Premier League.
Definitely, yeah, wide open title race as well, what we like to see. Finally on Liverpool, reigning champions, 5 wins from their opening 8 games. They sit joint second, in third behind Tottenham and Leicester, but same points as Tottenham after the opening matches. What do you made of their start, all told, as we go into our second international break?
You have to say is that they're in a position where they're defending their title quite well. They're still in there with a mix. If you're talking about a side that looks complete, you have to still say that Liverpool look complete at this moment in time. Yes, they've lost their mainstay, their centre half, but they still look like a side that's going to keep scoring goals. If someone can keep them to 0, then they've got a great chance of beating Liverpool. Aston Villa beat them. I mean, that game could have finished 7-6 or whatever.
True.
But I mean, so you don't really use that against them as any way. Forget about the goalkeeper not being there, as you mentioned earlier, Tom. That didn't make it, as far as to my opinion, it didn't make much difference.
No, couldn't blame Adrian for that.
It was just one of those blip moments they had, and to be honest, they deserved a blip because they had an incredible season prior. the way they went about that. Villa had a moment after their poor season where they got away with it to stay in the Premier League. They was on and up. Liverpool had a low, and that was it, I think, for Liverpool. It's going to take a lot to beat them again.
Full time here, it has finished 1-1 between Man City and Liverpool. We're not done though on Premier League Live today. Another game coming up after this as Arsenal take on Aston Villa. Victory for the Gunners will push them up the table going into international break. Aston Villa on a bit of a slide after their good start to the season. We'll get the team news from Tim Long shortly. First, let's hear from the two managers, Mikel Arteta and Dean Smith.
Well, I think they have a better understanding with the players. They work with the manager for longer. I think they recruited really well. They got Emi, they got the striker, they got Ross, which is a player with a lot of experience, Douglas Luiz, that now is starting to show what he's capable. He's a player that I know really well from my time at City. And I think the time is benefiting them together, and you can see what they are trying to do, and they look really strong.
The players know that there's a realism about where we're at and where we're trying to get to anyway. We still feel that we've had a good start. 4 wins out of 6 is certainly not bad by any means in this league. The last 2 results have been disappointing. I think score lines can put a slant on performances at times, and it was never a 4-0 game when Southampton were 4-0 up, and it probably sometimes slants the performance. The performance wasn't a bad performance. We just gave free kicks away in silly areas, and when the second half we showed what we could have done and should have done.
To finish a Sunday feast of football in the English top flight, the final kick-off before the international break sees 2 teams who've made encouraging starts to the campaign. Mikel Arteta has added some much-needed steel to Arsenal as the Gunners aim to manufacture a return to the Champions League, while Dean Smith is looking to take Aston Villa to the next level, freeing up their flair players to make a flying start to the season. A win for either today would lift them within just a point of the top 4. That is no doubt the aim for Arteta's Arsenal as they make 9 changes from Thursday's Europa League win and revert to the exact same lineup that won 1-0 at Manchester United last weekend. So for them, it's in goal, Leno, a back 3 of Holding, Gabriel and Tierney, Bellerin and Saka, the wing-backs, Partey and Elneny, the 2 central midfielders, Willian and Aubameyang, flanking Lacazette up front. As for Villa, Dean Smith makes just the 1 change from their 4-3 home defeat to Southampton a week ago. Traore is injured, so he's replaced by Trezeguet on the right of the attack. So they go with Martinez in goal, a back 4 from right to left of Cash, Konza, Mings and Target. The 2 midfielders, Douglas Luiz and McGinn. Barkley plays as the number 10. Grealish and Trezeguet wide of Ollie Watkins up front. They've won both of their away games so far this season at Leicester and Fulham and want to make it 3 straight away wins in the Premier League for the first time in over a decade. Arsenal, though, were unbeaten here at the Emirates this calendar year until Jamie Vardy's late winner 3 weeks ago. They'll be desperate to respond to that and have won 10 of their 13 games in all competitions this season. Villa will themselves want to bounce back as well. They won their first 4 in the Premier League, but have since lost both of their last 2. Kick-off at 7:15pm UK time on a mild floodlit North London night.
Tim, thank you very much indeed. Team news and a weather report. Perfection from Tim Long, who's alongside Kit Simons for that one. Paul Parker is still with me, though he's desperate to get back locked down into his house, I know. But Paul, just a quick question to you on this game. Let's start with Arsenal. A season of ups and downs already for them. Great wins, some poor performances, but you've got Willian, Lacazette, Saka, Aubameyang in the side this evening. Very strong attacking quartet, Partey and Elneny in the centre of midfield. I mean, they do look like they've got a good balance about that side, don't they?
They certainly do. I mean, they're having, in similar ways, a little bit like United, but maybe not getting the same kind of headlines of what United are getting with their performances.
A bit less expectation though, isn't there?
Yes, without a doubt. But you have to say about Partey midfield, I mean, he was brilliant at Old Trafford in their last game. I thought he ran that midfield. They controlled it. The front players were better. They showed more ambition in the final third, the way they attack. Now this is a game where they're expected to win. How do they deal with that? And generally sometimes it has gone flat. It hasn't worked out the way it should have done, but they, as you look at them, they look more of a trustworthy side now than they looked under Wenger and Emery as well. There's a little bit more belief there that Arsenal can go out there and have a go, really, compete, where before they wilted far too often.
Yeah, I think Villa will fancy their chances as well tonight. Attacking side picked by Dean Smith, Watkins, Grealish, Barkley, Trezeguet, McGinn. They have attacking talents, and they will certainly feel they can get something. Listen, up next, Tim Noel and Kit Simons with that game. Paul Parker, thank you very much indeed for your company as ever. Our feature game has finished here with a 1-1 draw between Man City and Liverpool. Earlier today, Tottenham victorious against West Brom and Leicester beating Wolves. Stay with us for the game up next between Arsenal and Aston Villa. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Evenings with James Whale on Talk Radio. Keep connected with round-the-clock news, essential information and expert insight.
I think we've got to be very careful about the way this has all been going on.
Cutting through the confusion with everything you need to stay safe, informed and entertained.
Everyone's going on about, we should be tracking and testing, and I just don't know how that is going to happen.
Evenings with James Whale. Weeknights from 7 on Talk Radio.
In a world of 24/7 global sportscasting and instant news infotainment, one man bestrides the airwaves like a snow-capped Caledonian colossus.
Hello, I'm Jim White.
Jim White, anchorman.
Mid-morning news team, assemble.
Jim White and Natalie Sawyer, the #1 rated news source for breaking sports stories, big-name guests, and liquid showbiz charisma.
Great Odin's Raven. That's quite a transfer.
There's nothing burgundy about Jim White. Tomorrow morning from 10 on TalkSport.
In the spring of the year 2020 AD, a deadly enemy rages like a torrent of fire between the ends of empire.
My name is Maximus Talksportus Pandemicus, gladiator of the sports radio. Gird up your loins and battle the invasion of COVID-19, because what you do today will echo in eternity.
TalkSport Legion, assume tortoise formation against COVID-19.
Show this virus no mercy by keeping a distance of at least 2 meters at all times. That's 6.75 Roman feet centurions. Together, Legion, TalkSportus can defeat it.
TalkSportus Maximus.
On my signal, unleash hand sanitizer.
Keep it on, stay informed, and give coronavirus the red cardus.
Are you not hand sanitized?
20 years of TalkSport.
Gentlemen, good evening.
There's no such thing as an overnight success.
Accrington Stanley 4, titanium plasmatronic death droids from the future, 0.
Excess.
Wasn't getting up, I was just getting in.
Excitement.
Excuse me,
and extremely strong opinions.
I spend my life covering the big game at the big level.
On DAB, medium wave, and on your smart speaker. 20 years of TalkSport.
For all the latest news, opinions and advice, listen to Talk Radio throughout the day and stay informed as events unfold.
We're now in a position to start implementing the next part of our plan.
Find out what's happening now and what may happen next, all day, every day.
If the government gets to grips with the plan, then surely we will be able to see light at the end of the tunnel.
Listen now on DAB Digital Radio, online.